Ahoy, land lovers, it's me, your Captain Vasco speaking. And welcome to 2024, Revenge of the Sith, or something. I'm not having a great time. We're 5 days in, sort of. It's Friday, January the 5th, 2024. Get used to it. We're here now. So, typically, the first week of the year is one of, if not the worst week of the year for my current job. And the thing that frustrates me so intensely about that is that the problem is so preventable. Like, the issue is simply that one of the worst things that I have to deal with at my job is contacting radio stations to make sure that they are starting to air commercials that they have agreed to air legally. It is a really like detail oriented process that takes a lot of time, and then like a stupidly high percentage of the time the people I deal with like either feign ignorance or are incompetent or some variation of these things. So like very rarely does the desired effect happen of I contact them and be like, you should already know about this. Someone important at your radio station signed up to do this. This is a formality. Please acknowledge that you are doing this. And the response should be, yep. And that happens sometimes. But what happens a lot of the time is like, I don't know. I never heard about this thing I signed. Or some even more insane variation of that. And that ends up taking a lot of time in addition to the amount of time it takes me to do the formal thing in the first place. It's all very annoying. Now, the standard complication is that for some inane reason, the people who create these contracts that lead to this work think it's a brilliant idea to start everything the literal first week of the year. And let me tell you that they're wrong, and it's not subjective. It makes no darn sense to front load a single week with all of this work. Because it's not feasible to do. What definitely ends up happening every single time... Oh, sweet. New emote. Thank you for the hype train, everybody. Choo-choo. I didn't think we'd get any more new emotes. What is this? It is a laughing reindeer. Very good. Very good. So it's just, like, it's basically not possible to do the amount of work that is prescribed by this stupid process. Like, it can't be done in a week, normally. And we'll get back to what normally means in this context in a minute. But so, like, what that ends up meaning is that, like, the people in my position have, like, a horrible, nasty, like, strained week for no reason. And then all of this stuff ends up getting pushed off 1 to 2 weeks anyway. So, tell me why it is that we can't just spread this crap out over the month. I'm not saying that January can't be a difficult month or whatever. I'm not completely unreasonable or insane myself. But what I don't understand is why we're like, let's fit 3.5 weeks of work into 1 week and see how that goes. Oh, poorly. Every single time? Weird. But that's not the whole story this year. Reindeer just in time for January 5th. Listen, Castle, you're not wrong. But I'm going to take whatever limited time holiday cheer Twitch will allow me. If I could somehow donate to my own channel to make more hype trains happen, I'd probably do that. Although it occurs to me that the way to do this is to just watch more streams and participate in their hype trains. Look, this is beside the point. I've been derailed by the hype train. The point is this. I took... how many days off? Well, I think technically I took 4 days off. But that was combined with national holidays and whatnot for the holidays. So basically, I was out of the office for like, I don't know, like something like 4 business days. But during that time, it turns out that there was a secret, like, second massive load of like new contract starts to deal with that, like, no one had mentioned before I left. So even though I like did my best to be proactive about trying to do stuff that was only going to happen when I returned, which like isn't really advised, but like I wanted to try and get ahead of it because I know the first week of January is super terrible. But what happened is that my boss apparently forgot to send out like notice to my department that like there was a whole second thing going on. And like also we didn't get any like really important information about it. Everything I learned about it, I had to learn from the people I was calling that I was supposed to be telling them stuff. And they were explaining to me what was happening because we are so underinformed about these things always, which is a great look for any company, I find. But the point being is that everything was set up for it to be a normal, bad first week of January, and I was mentally prepared for that, and I did as much as I could to account for that. But it turns out it's the worst first week of January ever because they jammed like a whole bonus week's worth of work into this week that already normally has like more than 1 week's worth of work. If you followed that, you get a gold star. The point is, this week has been insane and I hate it, and welcome to the stream. I'm wearing this slightly now ill-fitting Lucky Clover Grogu shirt to try and manifest some good luck, because I haven't given up on 2024 yet, even though it's given up on me. Now, Raincoat. We're still playing this game, somehow, inexplicably. I kind of did some mental math over the break and was like, oh, I've been playing this game for a really long time. I think part 19 is the one that went up this past Tuesday. That means that, you know, we're pretty well over 60 hours at this point. And I gotta say, that last bit before Christmas, it was not good. The end of that last case with Vivia Twilight, I don't know, bummer doesn't seem like quite the correct word. Like, there's some, like, harsh, negative vibes from some of the stuff that happens there. But the bigger issue, I think, is that the writing is just openly hostile towards me, a person with a brain who wants things to make sense. Thank you, Angel, for the gifted subs to Ice Bunny, and to Ice Bunny for being here to renew and join us. Hello, Ice Bunny. Hope you're doing well. So how can we recap that last case? I mean, spoilers, obviously, but let's just do a quick top to bottom because some time has passed. So, during the last case, we started off by trying to investigate the existence of the immortal, unkillable monster known as the homunculus. We believed that the Kanai Ward's ultimate secret had to do with experimentation to make some unkillable human monster that is immortal, aka the homunculus, or as some resistance leader who was murdered for insanely stupid reasons suggested to us, homunculi, the plural of homunculus. So after accomplishing nothing of value, we returned to our friend, the CEO of the company, supposedly responsible for immoral scientific research, and we're like, do homunculi exist? And he was like, homunculi of unusual size, I don't believe they exist. But if you want to check out my secret death laboratory, I suppose you can. So he drags us to the secret laboratory, and then we find out through a series of insanely convoluted events that, like, basically every person we know was brought to this secret laboratory that most of them shouldn't even be able to gain access to, because someone basically, like, posted on social media that they planned to kill a guy who lived in the secret laboratory and that everyone should come watch. Which isn't literal, it's figurative. Basically, they just told everyone that someone was gonna die. Longish story shortish, that guy did definitely die, and the peacekeepers, who are like the authoritarian police of this weird city-state that we've been trapped in, known as the Kanai Ward, decided that they were finally going to hold us accountable for their assumptions of our actions, because they are an authoritarian police force that goes around killing and kidnapping people at will, and for some reason they've just decided never to kill us, even though they always think that we're the biggest problem that they have. It's really annoying. See my various rants about that in the last couple of stream segments. And so, like, they were basically like, I'm finally gonna kill you. And then we went into the mystery labyrinth to try and solve the case. And we were joined this time by Vivia Twilight, a gentleman who wishes to die someday, which is ironic because we've recently learned that he has the superpower to astrally project and effectively appear and function as a ghost. When we went into the labyrinth, he kept saying like weird nonsense that didn't make any sense, and then about halfway through the experience, he's like, "Stop lying to yourself. You know the truth," which I didn't. And then like 20 or 30 minutes pass, and he's like, "It was our boss who killed the guy for reasons." And you know, then we did the typical and the mystery labyrinth stuff, and the mystery labyrinth didn't immediately explode. And we posited that this might mean that there's some secret to the mystery that still had not been eliminated. To summarize again, it turned out that the leader of the Peacekeepers had manipulated our boss with some weird privileged information, and told him that the scientist who ultimately got killed was responsible for his wife dying. All of this crap happened off screen. It wasn't extremely satisfying to me. I'm really trying to speed through this, but there's like a lot of things happened and also didn't happen, I gotta say. So I was really excited for a hot second, as I thought that this plot device that the game constantly uses, that whoever is guilty of the murder finds immediate and grim retribution in the form of having their soul reaped for doing crimes via the mystery labyrinth. Like, we were finally going to take down this guy, and there would finally be a justification for us not being immediately shot to death by the Peacekeepers, who have no reason to listen to us when we say we solved the mystery, because that's not how authoritarian police work. But then the video game told us that no, based on some technicality we didn't bother to explain, no. That's pretty much the whole explanation. No, because we said no. And then I got super duper upset, and then we just went through the motions of wrapping up the case. Our friend, the CEO, like, arrested the leader of the police, which seems like something he could have done at any point in the video game because they've hated each other the whole time. Someone who we thought had died came back from the dead to serve no function and wander off into the sunset. And then we went home with a little gift box that was given to us by the CEO. And that one's not a metaphor. He literally gave us a thing that looked like an engagement ring box. We got a phone call from our boss at the World Detective Organization headquarters. They're the ones in charge of murdering all the mysteries. And they told us that the grand thing that we're supposed to learn more about is the blank week, which I presume is some period of time where I think the whole of Kanai Ward, I don't think it's the whole world. I think it's just Kanai Ward forgot what happened for a week, and then afterwards it was raining for 3 continuous years. And then, like, right as we were kind of starting to wrap our heads around that gift box I mentioned not a moment ago opened itself and filled the entire room with knockout gas, and the chapter of that story ended with everyone unconscious at our secret submarine base. Did you follow any of that? No? Good. That means your sanity may remain intact. Welcome to Raincode, home of me. Let's play the game, although I should get caught up with chat. I just had to talk for like a really long time. We incremented some numbers. Thank you, Funny Godmother. That's my sister in chat. She doesn't always make it out to the streams, but she is always welcome and much appreciated. In fact, have one of these. I hope it works. Good, something's working today. Oh, I see. That's okay. I see what happened. Hey. Yeah, I know. I set that up mid last year? I don't remember when I did that. I don't use it enough. I say that a lot, but it doesn't make me use it more. Also, hi Neko. Welcome to the stream. You're here just in time for game. Okay. There we go.
Where am I?
I'm using the relatively recently added confetti cannon button. Oh, cool. There's a lot of fiction especially detective fiction, I think, where like the main character is just like constantly knocked out and waking up in strange places. I wouldn't say that Raincoat is like a particularly good example of this. Because says her presence is an excuse to use the button. She's not wrong about that. Historically, I am meant to press the button when VIPs appear. So there, I've used it slightly more. Welcome to 2024. It's bad here. I hate it. My sister says I installed Twitch on my TV and authorized it just for it not to play the stream, so I probably can't stay long. Oh, I see. Probably a bug with the mature filter. Maybe. That is outside of my control. It has just deemed this game mature because it's rated mature. It's frankly not a particularly mature game. I mean, like, it even goes so far as to, like, give all the characters who are dead, like, hot pink blood. Which, you know... It's not exactly graphic, I guess, is what I'm saying. It doesn't deal with, like, particularly mature themes for the most part, other than death. But, like, you can make, like, a G-rated murder mystery. So, like, that's not in and of itself enough to consider it mature. For sexy content. It's, like... Is it just the character design of Shinigami that flags this game? I mean, I'm not gonna try and argue that's not fair, but like that really might be the best argument I can think of. Could just be a bug where things don't work the way you want. Honestly, also a pretty solid argument. Funny godmother. Shinigami in human form. I don't know. Like, I don't think that should be enough to get an M rating. I mean, like, literally the most scandalous thing that appears in this game that is coming to mind is, like, when you beat those weird Shinigami barrel puzzles, what I call the pinup pirate game. She, like, does a pose in a swimming suit. A swimming suit? What am I? From the 1910s? I'm very tired. In a swimsuit, and then, like, it's gone in, like, 6 seconds or less. Like, that's the most scandalous thing in the whole game. I don't feel like I would grant you like T status for teen. Sure, that seems fine. I honestly can't immediately think of anything in this game that warrants an M rating over a T rating. Other than like maybe frequency of swears, which would be a really poor reason to use that language because it ups the ESRB rating to a point where like technically fewer people might play it. It just seems weird. I don't know. Maybe because it has guns? Nah, like there are plenty of T-rated games with guns. This is America. The ESRB ratings are American. Like European countries have PEGI ratings, don't they? Is there a lot of pooping? No. I don't think there's. I'm struggling to remember because this game can be sophomoric at times. I don't know that there's any direct poop references. You definitely don't like see it or whatever. Anyway, I guess we should play the game. I said I was done talking, but like, nah.
Where are we?
I don't know, but it doesn't look good.
How many places do you think we have blacked out and woken up? We like blacked out while riding the train to get here. We started the game unconscious. That has to count. I don't think we blacked out during the Nailman case at all. At the school? I don't think so. I mean, there was like a lighting blackout, but that doesn't count. But then we got kidnapped by the resistance leader, and that caused us to be rendered unconscious. I don't actually think we got rendered unconscious during the last case. Before that, though, our submarine exploded and we blacked out there. And then, of course, we just blacked out and woke up. That's at least 5 separate instances. I feel like there might be a 6th one I'm not thinking of. Nico said she looked up the official rating for Rain Code. It said, blood, strong language, suggestive themes, violence. I mean, I feel like language has to be doing the heavy lifting there. The blood is not extreme, and it's not naturally colored. for the most part. The suggestive themes, like, I'm not gonna say they're not there at all, but like they're not. It's not like a pornographic game or something. I don't know, man. I could get hung up on this for days, but also just like I think I'm looking for any excuse not to do anything. I'm so tired.
Oh man, this place is giving me the creeps.
I can't tell if they're just upset that they're in a weird place or if they're actually concerned about what they're looking at.
Well, let's just look around and figure out where we are for now.
Okay, it does look like we're in a
What's
jump
that?
scare horror game.
No, wait. I have to figure out where I even am.
Oh, sweet. DP, my favorite resource. That's very useful. An ankle can be scandalous. Well, I did just demonstrate that I have the sensibilities of a gentleman from the turn of the last century. So certainly to me, an ankle is scandalous. I'll give you that, Ice Bunny. Why don't we just have a nap time stream? It's actually, like, super funny that you say that, Neko. Like, I don't think I could go into all of it because some of it's not stuff that's set in stone. But I was trying to think of a way to incorporate, like, another channel point redemption thing and, like, maybe have an excuse to, like, run occasional ad breaks on the stream to, like, facilitate new folks joining a little more easily. And as an extension of these and other considerations, I was like, what if I had a channel point redemption that was like power nap, where for like the duration of one ad, I pull out like one of my like really big sleepy stuffed animal Eevee friends or something, and like we just hang out really quietly and like talk softly or something. I determined that probably wasn't anything, but the idea had recently occurred to me and is related to your comment. This door doesn't seem to be locked, but the knob's broken, so we can't get through. Are we literally in Silent Hill now? Guess you got no choice but to kick it down. If we run out of places to go, that might be the only way, but, like, my legs are made of tissue paper, so I doubt it. Oh, hang on. I immediately lost control. But there's, like, a trophy over there.
Kurumi!
Kurumi Wend-i! No, you know where we are? I think we're at the end... Spoilers for future diary, I guess. I'll try to keep it as light as possible. There's sort of like a predestined date that's like built into the story because it, you know, it's future diary. It's sort of about seeing the future to some extent. There's like a date on the calendar that's coming up, and like when it arrives, they're in this like rundown house like this. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Any acknowledgement?
No, she's not. Kurumi,
Definitely not
wake
dead.
up. Kurumi!
I'm still not convinced that Kurumi Wend-i isn't going to, like, betray us, literally or figuratively, at some point.
Oh, thank goodness.
I don't know, that's what I'm saying, Neko. Like, to me, when I think of, like, yeah, exactly, like, broken, blocked, or locked from the other side, like, the first thing that comes to mind for me is Silent Hill. But, like, the one that seems particularly Silent Hill is just, like, the lock is broken, which basically visually reads the same as, it's a functional door, but I won't open it.
Yuma? Where am I?
Hey, I never took a close look at Kurumi Wend-i's irises. They actually look a little bit like incorrectly colored Umbrella Corps logos.
I don't know. I just woke up too.
I'm sorry, I missed your comment before. Because I was talking for like a really long time. Is this important? It's just bad here. It's like 2024.
What is this place? I've never seen anywhere so creepy.
Yeah, man, it's like super Future Diary / Mirai Nikki in here, out here. Collectively in this place. It's funny. I'm cold. We have -8 degrees Celsius or something. Get the third janitor in half a year. HOA picked up a janitor who cannot figure out how to deal with cleaning out snow. Got sagged in a week with freezing snow, frozen rain. Someone smacked some sand on the sideway. What the, like, yikes. I thought it was bad here where every day is basically like, it's record low. Although it's not snowing or close to snowing here. I just have extremely not controlled weather in here. My apartment is very much at the whims of outside. I do need to uninstall the one air conditioner in my bedroom because it's cold, and also because they're like power washing the building on Monday. So I really need to get around to doing that. But it's a process that sucks and I hate it, and I haven't saved any spoons for it this whole week. But yeah, I was not aware that on the 14th Denmark has a king. What is the current status if you have a king on the 14th? Is there no monarch presently? Also, hi Demolition, welcome to the stream. You've missed nothing because I just keep getting completely derailed by any small thing happening or chat looking at me.
You don't know where we are either?
It's raining, so it's probably somewhere in Kanai Ward.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, it does rain other places, but like it's a fair bet that Kanai Ward, the place that's rained continuously for 3 years, is probably we're probably still in the vicinity, right? People actually power wash buildings. I thought it was made up for the game. Honestly, Neko, I couldn't tell you if people really do that. I can only tell you that this building does it seldomly, which is to say that the people who run this building are lunatics and never make any reasonable decisions. So that it might be the only building in the world that actually uses power washing services, but it does use them. Fun fact, so the neighbors on the wall behind the couch moved out in the middle of December, which has meant that they've been doing a ton of loud construction over there during the day. I have worked remotely since like mid-early 2020, as you may know, so that hasn't been my favorite. That hasn't actually been terrible. I expected it to be a lot worse. If I come out here to where, like, this room, it's much louder. If I'm in the room where I have my office set up, it's a dull inconvenience. However, yesterday, on the subject of work being done to the building, at like 11:30 at night or something, I suddenly heard like loud hammering and possibly sawing noises coming from the other wall behind the TV in the direction that you, the camera, are. And I have to assume that's because it's rained like twice in like 2 weeks, and my other neighbor's roof finally gave in the way mine has done like 3 times. Life is really exhausting. It's simply unfair, don't you think? Essel says, is the 3-year rain a heavy rain? Maybe Sean Mars is out there waiting to be rescued. I mean, listen, I don't expect this game to have a satisfying conclusion, but I think the closest we're getting is for that to literally happen, Castle. So fingers crossed. Someone called Nam and Jaden. Denmark has a queen, but she's abdicating the throne? Is that a real thing that happens? I thought that only happened in Hallmark movies with secret princes living as the... I decided, like, today, like, literally today, that I definitely need to get a Vivia Twilight soundboard option for I Hope to Die Someday, or whatever the thing he always says is. I know I've had many opportunities, but I've just never committed the time to do it. Denmark is one giant Hallmark movie. This another fun fact that no one asked for. 2023 was the year of, like, Norway for Hallmark. They were really big on, like, Norway and, like, fake Norway traditions and cultures and things, like, specifically. It's really interesting. I wasn't expecting that. Because she's concerned my landlady is doing work on her wall. It's the only wall through the screen. I mean, it's probably not the wall itself, but the roof above that wall. Now, does that carry its own concerning implications? Yes. Is it increasingly likely that I will not live here in a year's time? Yeah. I mean, if for no other reason than, like 2 days before Christmas, they announced a pretty substantial rent increase, which I didn't love or appreciate.
Who knew there was a place like this in Kanai Ward?
I think I've advanced literally like 20 lines of dialogue. This is a talking stream. Don't let me fool you.
There are some rundown shacks over there. Looks like a rural village.
But is there a juror in that house? A rural juror? It seems weird to knock us unconscious and bring us to like a sketchy second location, but not to like bind us or keep us there in any way at all. Like, what's the point? Even if they just wanted to steal our submarine, which is fine, I guess, couldn't they just like leave us on shore and save themselves the trouble?
Hey, Yuma. Do you remember how you were brought here?
This is how you feel about Emoji Blitz, by the way. Every time I try to get back into that game, it's like, hello, there are 8 million tutorial screens. That's completely fair. Listen, at least they added the skip tutorial button at some point, because they used to all be mandatory and you couldn't skip anything, and there's so many screens. But like I don't know how long it's been since you played, but like in the last calendar year, they've added like a new form of currency, like a whole subsection of the game where you like level up characters in like a secondary way. They added a new game type. Just like they added like they just keep complicating the game and bloating the file size. But like I keep playing it, I think I'm increasingly disillusioned with its overall package. But it does have all my digital Disney character emojis on it, and I need to have them. I at least intend to finish collecting all the gold box emojis before I give up on the game, is what I decided early last year. We're not there yet. It will take a really long time. This is bonkers. You need a doctorate. Yeah, no, like literally, there's like a guy on the subreddit for Disney Emoji Blitz who like just data mines the game to explain everything to all the casual players, and even then a lot of them are still confused, which is fair because it's a needlessly complicated match 3 game with Disney character faces in it. Like the company that bought it like 4 years ago or something is just like intent on like microtransactioning the bejeebus out of it.
Let me think. Smoke suddenly came out of my pocket, and I fell unconscious.
I mean, that's like everyone's experience at New Year's, right? This is just like a normal New Year's party.
It must have been a powerful sedative. You were instantly KO'd.
Expression Stardust, there's 2 different daily progression systems. It's a mess. At least the daily... Yeah, I kind of forgot that the calendar is relatively new, too. I mean, like, at least the new, like, Stardust challenges, like, have value. They're not efficient, but they give you really good prizes, as opposed to, like, the old version. Speak for yourself, Esco. Women don't get pockets. You know, that is true. I mean, smoke could come out of your pocketbook, maybe. Got a clutch purse for your evening wear getaway? My brain is mush. Please forgive all the words that I say. My sister says, we have a game design discipline share out every 2 weeks where we do teardowns at her work, which is at Riot Games because she's a superstar, awesome person in the gaming industry. And yeah, I can't imagine that they would think, well, like it does feel like mostly every decision that's been made by JM City, who now owns that game we're talking about, has been to compromise the image of the game and make it worse long term. But there you go.
I got knocked out too.
Haven't we determined at this point that like her consciousness is kind of tied to ours in some confusing way?
I remember seeing on the news before I passed out.
Oh, I did forget about that. When we were on the phone with number 1, the guy who's in charge of the World Detective Organization, suddenly like the call didn't quite go dead. I think we heard someone in the background be like, "Oh my god, it was an explosion." And then like we smash cut to like the news in the middle of our video phone call somehow. And yeah, I mean, don't love this.
The WDO building was bombed by a terrorist.
Huh? It was?
No, that's right. She showed up at the last second.
Could this be related to the explosion? Who could have done this?
Actually, in the last stream installment, I think it was Neko who said that she thought, maybe it was Sarah. Someone said that they thought that Kurumi Wendy, like, when she walked into like the background of the scene to like check on us, like as we were getting knocked unconscious, they thought they saw her fall down too. And I like scrubbed through my video before uploading it, and I'm still not convinced that's true. I still think she might be in on this. Discreet is why it's mature. I do have to say that when this popped back up, I was like, this might factor, although at the same time, I'm not entirely sure that's reasonable. It's not entirely unreasonable. I'm not sure it's entirely reasonable.
The criminal being pursued by the World Detective Organization? What's going on? This is totally bizarre.
This game really likes its hard resets in a way that I do not appreciate. You can see her 999 hoodie. I mean, I don't know. All I remember is I was like literally scrubbing like frame by frame, and I don't see clear evidence. Like, to me, it looks like you see her, she comes in, people start coming unconscious, start falling unconscious as a result of the gas, and then it almost looks like she stepped just right back to the left and was out of frame. It didn't look to me like she fell over.
And where is everyone else from the detective agency?
The submarine probably exploded again. Actually, you know what? I think I would appreciate it if the submarine exploded again, but it would make me long for a game where the submarine somehow exploded like 4 times during the course of the game.
If they were taken away like we were, then they should be nearby. We should search around here for now.
Master, be careful. I'm worried about that weird shadow from earlier.
Right.
It's
What
probably just
was
that angry
thing?
nun who hates us so much. I feel like her eyes could glow red from rage. Did I see the email about Michael Bolton? I did, barely. I was having lots of technical issues in the last hour. So background. Michael Bolton, famous singer, known for yacht rock jams, among other things. Had participated in a couple of, like, holiday specials run by Disney.
So creepy here.
And was like...
It's like the afterlife.
He was like holding himself in this really unusual, like, stiff fashion. And when my family watched them together over the holidays, we were like, what's like happening here? It almost looks like he's being held hostage or something. And my sister found out, I guess today, that he like really suddenly determined that he had, like, they did a test or something and found that he had a brain tumor that needed to be operated on immediately. For the Michael Bolton in Office Space. I don't know, man. I'm legit like a reasonably big Michael Bolton fan. I mean, have you ever seen his Valentine's Day special from like Netflix? I only watched it once, but like it was amazing. And obviously he did that great song with Lonely Island. Like, I don't know. He's just like a really talented singer that also clearly has a sense of humor. I'm pro Michael Bolton. Until he needs to be canceled or whatever. Liking like celebrities or talented people of any kind is really complicated now. Some explodes by use of Ice 9 bombs. Has anyone here ever heard of the Philadelphia experiment? Note that this is a rhetorical question. Anyone who can perform and sound that well with a brain tumor is also funny. Yeah, that I'll give you that. That tracks. Anyway, at some point, I'm really going to start playing the game. I mean, to be honest, if chat just wants to chat, we could do that. But, like, I'm going to at least feign productivity in the meantime.
You have no idea what the afterlife is like, kiddo. Want me to show you the real thing?
No, I really have grown to hate you, Shinigami. My name is Talking Tina, and I think I hate you.
Come on, let's go.
Let's be honest, Vasco, do you want to play? I mean, kind of, no. Like, I was trying to think of how to put this. I want to finish Raincode. But, like, I don't want to play Raincode. Like, we're far enough into it that I'm pretty sure that this is the last case, and I want to know how the story ends. But, like, also the gameplay's pretty bad, and the writing has increasingly demonstrated that it's basically just here to upset me. But, like, the vibe isn't that I don't want to play. The vibe is that I don't want to be around anymore. That's the vibe. Being held hostage. Like a little like that. On the vibe of chill, I had like zero time to try and like buy or download or test or prepare the game that I plan to start playing after we finish Chants of Sinar. So tomorrow is going to be Cobalt Core. It's going to be chill music and me being bad at piloting a spaceship with cards. The game is really good. I've just right before the holiday break, I started a run where I was like playing hard mode with a character I don't like and was doing meme stuff and like don't think I have any reasonable shot at getting any further than where we saved. So I think we're pretty much doomed and maybe we'll start over rapidly. I don't know. But that's like for sure happening. Esco pulls up YouTube on stream. I mean, serious question. Do we have any interest in trying to do some sort of like Amazon watch party at some point? I've never really like looked deep into how this sort of thing works, but like a lot, like if you haven't picked up on it, a lot of the vibe of this stream is basically like one man MST3K on a budget. So like if we wanted to like watch something that like Amazon permits as a stream sometime, I'm not opposed to that idea. What did I get for Christmas? I got like lots of cool stuff. I'm very excited to show off something later. Probably the big thing I got. My mom got me these like super nice Bluetooth headphones because all of my technology keeps outpacing my desire to have normal headphones. So I have what are now like I've gone from having like absolute like budget headphones that are very serviceable and do what I want for mostly all purposes. I have a couple different pairs for various things. To now having like one of the more expensive pairs of headphones you can get that is very extremely nice. My brother got me this weird device called an Analog Pocket, which is a third-party handheld gaming device that literally allows you to plug in any Game Boy, Game Boy Color, or Game Boy Advance game directly into it and just play it as though it is one of those consoles. And it has like attachments you can use to like play other like handheld console games. Like I bought one for Game Gear games, which I haven't tested yet because I've had like 2 minutes to myself. Yes, my frying pans. My sister got me super cool, like, I don't know what the proper terminology for it is, but she has this cool, like, personal, like, sphere of influence of purified air device that she took with us when we went to that Home Alone show that I mentioned, like, before the holidays. She got me one of my own, which is super exciting for me, the guy who's been wearing masks this whole time. And a guy who intends to go to an S Club 7 concert, assuming they actually do it this time in February. Yeah, I think it's the Westinghouse, right? That sounds right. Those are like big ticket stuff. I got like a few Magic cards. I got the Commander Pirate deck that came out recently. I'm excited to play that. I don't know. I got a lot of cool stuff. I was very happy with it. I was also very happy with the fact that collectively it didn't take up a huge quantity of space, which isn't like a stated goal necessarily, but it is increasingly a consideration because I'm a hoarder and I have problems. Let's get through like another like 3 lines of dialogue before someone derails me again. Why could this not have been a continuous cutscene? That's not even on me.
There.
Aren't those filters expensive? I think so. I didn't even check. My sister is very generous. Unfortunately, I am not. I'm on my meager secondary Twitch income and mediocre primary income. I'm not really in a position to reciprocate.
What are they doing?
Yeah, I'm really sorry that my sister ended up getting COVID recently. I know that she's been very, very studious about keeping on top of like all the latest news and ways to stay safe, and has been very safe despite traveling. Like, she's been safer than people I know who have not traveled for any reason. And I know how upset I would be, and I can only imagine how upset you are, and I'm sorry that that happened. It's not really designed for 24/7 use, more like travel. Yeah, but like, I don't know. I feel like in most cases that's the most you need that for, right? Like, what kind of life do you live that you would need the filter on all the time? Like, you probably have some kind of sanctuary somewhere, and then you use it places where you're either in between or for a short time where you're concerned about it. I guess that's true. It's not gonna fend off the mold. I mean, that's kind of like a big ticket issue, unfortunately. The HOA thing's a real kick in the pants. Did anyone else get cool stuff? Hit me up with your cool stuff. I want to live vicariously through that cool stuff. Also, is this the Little Nightmares girl? It's the right raincoat for the end of the second one and the first one, right?
If they live around here, they might know something.
Wait, you're going to talk to them? I think that's a bad idea.
I just want to point out that the main character is a detective, and he looks at this person, he's like, that's like a normal townsperson in a raincoat, slumped over, staring at the corner of a dilapidated building. There's nothing concerning about this. That's like a normal guy. That's just like an innocent guy.
But we have to find out where we are. It'll be fine, I think.
Famous last words.
You sure about that?
Oh no. Neko. So Neko had been talking about how she got her brother the Dwarf Romantic board game, and she had shared some pictures on the Discord of like tiny trains and boats that she'd sculpted herself out of clay as like accessories for the board game, for the train and water tiles. And her brother got her a crossword puzzle he printed out. Was that like meant as a meme or what? What happened? Like, listen, it's the thought that counts. It's just that feels like that could have been like a very last second thing, unless it was like created custom for you or something. Got the Lenovo Legion for yourself. What is that? Tell me about this anime. Oh no, wait. Demolition, you're saying like 3 people close to your family got COVID over Christmas week? Yikes. A camera light, Stream Deck Pro, teapot to replace broken one, lots of clothes. Oh, I did get some cool clothes. My mom found me like Gen 1 Pokemon starter pajamas. I haven't actually tried them on yet, which I should do. I'm really excited for them. Maybe I'll wear them tomorrow. Do we want to? We'll do that. Let's do that. That sounds fun. So you saw your family for Christmas? I hope they didn't do anything to disillusion you. I know that that's a tenuous relationship. Neko got incredibly round pigeon plushie. Dragon Quest monsters like Pokemon, but with constant puns. Does Alcadius know about this? Yeah, I'd been putting off getting the latest COVID shot just because like the numbers were on the rise, and it felt like I didn't need to go out more. Like, I was expecting to stay in for most of the holidays, but like I got some stuff coming up that's probably going to take me out of the house a little more, and I'm feeling like I got to prioritize that pretty soon. But like, yeah, all accounts are that like stuff is surging bad. So much chat. So much chat. I love it. Literally, On Wednesday, came over and announced good news. I'm now COVID negative that day. Oh, that's fun. I mean, I know that Tech had mentioned that, like, it's like a few days before Christmas, but he was just sort of like, oh, suddenly someone in my family tested positive for COVID, and now we're all sort of, uh-oh. So, like, I feel like, yeah, it's not an uncommon story for this holiday season, but I'm sorry for those of you it has affected. Hey, wait a sec. Hold on a second.
Try talking to him, or are you still scared?
Hold on. There's like a collectible in here that the game is trying to make me forget. It's a memory shard. Oh, for Hiko. But I don't like him.
So?
Can't get past the scrapped wood. It's weird that you, like, can't even try to investigate this thing without going through that whole cutscene first.
This is...
It's a real mess in this room. I don't think we could get any further.
No.
Look at all these points that are definitely meaningful and not equivalent to the made-up points in Whose Line Is It Anyway at all. Are there, like, other memory shards out here? This feels like a great time and place to hide memory shards.
Come on.
Nope. Invisible walled. Why should I not be scared of this guy? He looks like a zombie.
Is
Looks
this
like a literal zombie.
Excuse me.
Like, I'm gonna get eaten. I'm just gonna get eaten.
Hello?
This is where I get eaten. Literal zombie. Literal zombie. Literal zombie. What did I say? Zombie behavior.
Did that person try to bite you? Was that a zombie?
Yes, it was. Zombie behavior.
A zombie? No way!
It attacked us on sight. It didn't even try to talk.
I'm always like I'm kind of obsessed with any fictional world where like some supernatural element casually exists, but the character still insists that something like a zombie can't exist. Like literally this game has superpowers in it and like a contract with like a weird like death deity that gives you like the ability to enter a pocket dimension with like weird ramifications on reality, but like nah, a zombie's ridiculous.
Master, we gotta get out of here.
I know!
Try going any direction then.
Run!
No, there's like for sure zombies right there. You're gonna get some pop-ins. Well, those also are zombies.
Where should I run to?
There's a zombie on the other side of the fence. See the fact that this game has like really bad pop-in. I don't know the proper name for this, but like assets that like disappear and then like render like properly a short distance away.
I think we can get in that building. Let's hide there for now.
It really makes this concept of these just like looming omnipresent zombie figures kind of stupid. Because they don't, like, render properly. And yeah, we're for sure in Silent Hill. This can't be unintentional. There's another collectible the game doesn't want me to have for some
There
reason.
was definitely something wrong with those people. And it wasn't just one or two, but a whole mob.
Not just 6, all 6 billion. Nico says, Rainy Hill. You don't want to descend it. You might... Well, I'll put it this way.
I might get wet down there.
Yeah, I still haven't fixed up the Stream Deck to have all the correct sound effects on it. But you know the very first one I put on there was Get Wet Down There because I'm a psychopath.
If they all attack at once, you'll be torn to shreds, Master!
I miss my sister's message. I hope that you feel better soon. I'm sorry for everything you're dealing with. Thank you for stopping by the stream, even though technology continues to be full of gremlins and be cursed gremlins.
We need something to defend ourselves. Let's look for something we can use as weapons.
I know, a memory of Desahiko. There's nothing that will ward off harmful creatures more than that. No, this one is Halara. Oh, hang on. Envelope? Is it like an eviction notice? That's pretty scary.
An envelope? There's a letter inside.
I wonder who it's from.
Evacuation order. Yesterday, toxic gas was discovered to be leaking from the nearby mines.
Isn't this Until Dawn? It's not literally, but it's close.
This area has been purchased by Amaterasu Corporation and has been designated as off-limits. All residents are hereby requested to evacuate the area immediately.
No, it is an eviction notice.
An evacuation order
I'm really
from
good at this game.
Amaterasu Corp.
I see. I think I know where we are.
The restricted zone or whatever it's called?
Yuma! This is the restricted area!
Do I have a stream deck? Yeah, that's like what the whole soundboard thing is on. It's kind of dusty because I'm bad at life, but like, yeah. Ooh, ah. Watch as I
The
press
servants call me Dummy Thick.
fun sound buttons.
I might get wet down there.
I like that you can... Maybe my favorite thing about the stream deck, which is really stupid, is that you can just like put whatever image you want on, and then they look like proper custom buttons.
Oh my god!
You may have noticed that I put some of the emotes on there. Like it's probably not gonna show up really cleanly, but this is Vasco Random, and that's the button for the... It's the button for the die roller that's currently not working. There it is. The confetti cannon fires the confetti cannon. And currently I have Carlos set to the fanfare command. No one cares about any of this. I'm just having fun now.
My mom.
But yeah, I've been using that for years. Big fan. You said you got the... What's the Extreme? What's the big one called? XL? Biggity Big XL? You're for ideas on what to put on yours? You could do anything, man. Like I should probably be more creative. Currently I have like those buttons. I used to have more sound effects before the nuclear decimation of the old Stream Deck settings. And I put all the various scenes on there for quick transitions between stuff. Pro XL. Yeah, that sounds right.
Supposedly, it was a tiny village that was abandoned due to a toxic gas leak from a nearby mine.
So like in for example, in like 999, you'll have these sort of revelatory moments and you'll be like, "Oh my god, that thing that like they talked about like 30 hours ago." And that like it seemed like it was like a lark, but like now it's super important. But I remember that. It's crazy. In this game, they're like, remember that thing I said like yesterday? Like for just like weirdly specifically, it's exactly relevant now. I don't know how to explain it. It has like a really different feel, and it like I'm not impressed. Raincoat is still going. Coolness. Now, you didn't emphasize that textually in any way, but I feel like that was sarcastic. Which is fine either way. Maybe I'm reading into that. Also, welcome for Twitch. And thank you to Angel for gifting 6 months for Twitch. Should have an image of an X so you can press X to Jason. Oh, that's true. I really should. What would be a good X? Not the one for Twitter, that's for sure. Feels like it's been a while. It has! It has been a while.
Ever since then, the whole area has been restricted.
But hey, here's the bright side for Twitch, is that for some reason, I can't stop talking today. So if you were caught up on things before the start of today's stream, you've missed almost nothing. An hour has passed, and we've played about 5 minutes of game. This is either the best or worst outcome for you, depending on your heart's desire.
Isn't this where the corpse processing facility is supposed to be?
I mean, yeah, but like, yeah.
This is becoming more of a horror story by the minute! Spooky, spooky, spooky!
Oh, yeah, that rumor. I need to confirm it with Kurumi.
I don't understand that line read at all. Yuma is like one of the most timid characters who's only very gradually started to become more confident after solving several life-threatening mysteries. And like, Shinigami says, I'm like, oh my god, isn't this where the corpse processing plant is? Where like they capture people and then like throw their bodies into like a furnace or something? Eek! And he's like, oh yeah, that rumor. I should talk to Kurumi Wendy. Like, what the heck was that?
Maybe.
I'm gonna keep testing the bounds of this game. I like that the prompt was like, maybe I haven't checked everything yet. Instead of like, I think Kurumi Wendy's expecting me to talk to her.
Kurumi, there's something I need to ask you.
What is it?
Are we gonna go steady?
Halara was investigating the restricted area and mentioned something.
Thank you for that, Demolition. I forgot that. You know what? There's no chance I'm opening Steam now. It'll break something. This week is cursed. I'll try to remember that for later.
In Kanai Ward, corpses rot easily due to the humidity from the rain, so they are quick to retrieve bodies. The corpses are then loaded onto trucks and transported to the restricted area for disposal. But that process is managed by a department with a handful of people working directly for Amaterasu's CEO.
Like, this one I can complain a little more clearly about. Like, there's something off about the vibe of that flashback, the last flashback. But, like, this one is like, this happened... If we had played the game straight through, and I hadn't been talking for the last hour, then, like, there probably would have been, like, 10 to 20 minutes between this conversation happening and the current moment in the game.
On top of that, they are only involved in transportation. They aren't aware of what happens afterwards.
Somebody asks, are you getting wet down there? Sorry, Danish humor. Or what were you gonna ask her? I mean, like, listen, I'm always like, I don't know why this thing is so fun. Like, this thing that I extracted from 999. So, like, in 999, 9 persons, 9 hours, 9 doors, or some combination of those 3 groups of words. Like, there's this scene that's, like, deliberately comedic, where, like, there's a misunderstanding between this, like, teenage boy and girl. Like, they have to, like, descend into this sinking ship, and, like, the girl's, like, really nervous about it, and, like, somehow it reaches this point where, like, he thinks that, like, she's, like, flirting with him, and she's concerned that she's gonna drown in the sinking ship, but, like, it ends up with this weird innuendo.
I might get wet down there.
And, like, because I had to, like, extract it and, like, splice the pauses between it to make it sound like one continuous pause, I feel like I've taken weird ownership of this, like, extremely crude joke.
How the bodies are buried and who buries them is a mystery.
I hope it's a dog. I hope it's one
So the
big
rumors about it
dog.
being a corpse processing facility were true?
I hope that, like, all the bodies are buried by, like, one gigantic, like, Cerberus or something.
I thought you'd know.
No, I don't. But why a corpse processing facility?
I'm gonna guess it's because it rains too heavily for crops to grow normally, and that's how you get Soylent Green. Anyone?
Maybe Amaterasu is secretly disposing bodies used for human experimentation.
That's good. See, I'm really glad, I'm genuinely glad to get, like, confirmation from chat that they enjoy this joke, because, like, I feel like I'd be doing it regardless, but, like, the fact that it doesn't make people upset that I constantly shoehorn ways to get wet down there, like, I feel like that's a positive. I feel like that means we're all in the right place together.
If that's the case, What if bodies coming back to life was an unexpected side effect of the experiment?
You didn't bury them deep enough, like that one Hallmark Christmas movie with a time capsule that was like barely covered by snow after like 20 years or something.
Would that mean
I
they
might
really are
get
zombies?
wet down there.
It's like never not funny. I almost dare reality to find a way in which I can't find joy from that quote.
But that can't be. A corpse can't come back to life.
You literally made a pact with a death god, you numpty.
Aren't zombies supposed to be dead? They sure didn't smell like corpses to me.
You can smell? You don't even have a nose. Skull joke.
Huh?
But they didn't really seem alive either. What are they?
If the story of the toxic gas from the mines is true, these could be the residents suffering from it.
Anyway, we'll make some of that info a solution key just in case.
Have we established that she's the one making the executive decision about that? Something feels weird about the way she's like, I don't know, I guess I'll mechanically make that information relevant. Yeah, I mean, like, honestly, like, a zombie is, like, one interpretation of, like, unkillable monster. This could definitely be the homunculus. It'd be, like, a lot less good than they probably wanted it to be. Vasco, have you ever heard of the Nehebaku? It's the Egyptian version of Cerberus who guards the underworld, except instead of a dog, he's a derpy-looking snake with man legs. Is that thing that I always see, like, memes about where, like, two of the heads are scary and then the third one is, like, super doofy? And, like, people make memes by ascribing different things to the three heads? Is that what that's based on? What is that thing? Doesn't have knees. He's your favorite underworld protector. I'm not sure. Do I have one of those? Do I have a favorite underworld protector? He only has one head. Room for improvement. Godzilla Ghidorah meme. Sure. I genuinely don't know what it's from. It doesn't strike me as a Godzilla thing, but I definitely take your word on that. The sound presence of this audio is abysmal. I like that they all have Kurumi's raincoat, but in yellow.
Yoshiko, Lorna, Renee.
That's almost a good twist.
But
We killed them earlier.
I thought they all died.
Yeah, so they're definitely zombies, nerd.
You really zombies? Were all three of you turned into
I never
zombies?
noticed her arm has an apple on it. I guess she's a Mac gal.
I think we're in the wrong genre! Zombies don't show up in mystery titles!
Stop being self-aware. This isn't She-Hulk.
Hey, Master! You better scram before you get eaten!
Kurumi, let's run.
Yeah,
Alternatively, we could shamble away and maybe they'd start to think that we were their friends.
now they're firing arrows at us? Zombies can't use weapons!
It has a note. It's from a friend.
Hey, there's a letter on the arrow.
Maybe we should walk and read.
Kurumi, let's hide. This way.
I really don't know what's going on. This game has gone off its own rails in a new and exciting way.
Letter on an arrow. Talk about old-fashioned.
I feel like you're bringing the wrong energy into this disaster scenario. We're like literally trapped in Silent Hill, set upon by zombies who are like your confirmed dead high school friends. And like moments later you're like, wow, who sent this arrow with a letter on it? Might as well call me on a rotary phone. Like, what are you doing, Groucho Marx?
What does it say?
Warning.
Cool.
Homunculi are predisposed to eating human flesh in order to maintain the artificial organic synthesis in their cells.
Once again, influence of Until Dawn. Also gross.
Currently, there are no alternate sources of nutrition, and they grow sick if they do not consume human flesh. particularly malnourished specimens will attack any human on sight, so please do your best to be careful. From the Amaterasu Homunculus Research Department.
I have so many logistical questions about what on the hecking heck is heck. Also, hi Kronos. Thank you for the Prime sub. Thank you so much. They're not dead. They're very drunk and desperately want a hot dog. I mean, that honestly does suit their demeanor, to be honest with you, Ice Money. How you doing, Kronos? We've accomplished almost nothing to stream, and yet the plot continues to try and happen. Vasco, you're not a woman. You don't understand what it's like for men to try and contact you in weird old-fashioned ways. I can't argue that, but at the same time, it wasn't the text of her message that bothered me. It was the weird subtext of like waka waka when like literally 3 of her friends just tried to eat her. Like there's just a tonal whiplash from like, oh my god, those are my friends, I saw them die, to who sends a letter by arrow? Like, it's just weird. You will not convince me that's not weird. Deciding your secret letter with the team name of the hyper secret department is a good job. A+ security. I mean, okay, but like for real, like we happened upon the evacuation order, right? Like there's technically nothing suspicious or weird about the way that information was delivered to us. That arrow was fired deliberately in our direction for us to get that message, which means that there's like some researcher on site who, like, in case of humans wandering into the corpse eating zone, like fires arrows at people to let them know that they're going to get eaten, rather than like somehow trying to go to their rescue or to safely divert them to some place where they won't get eaten. They just fire off an arrow and then get back to their clipboard or something. I don't know. Settling back into work after much needed time off. I'm glad you got a break from it. I hope that your start of the year isn't extremely horrible the way mine is, and especially was this year. I'm so sad about it. Read the other post first. It's the history department sounding after Rustur with the new students after 3 nights of drink. What's Rustur? Tell me about what I presume to be the celebration of Rustur. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing, Demolition. If you're in arrow range, like walk up and tell me about it or something. It's just madness. Why not phone them? We have futuristic technology. I mean, like, I get not wanting to shout or maybe like make like the sound from a phone call because it might alert nearby homunculi or whatever. Just imagine some person has a bunch of arrows for this rare situation. You know what, Anime? That makes me think of like, it's not even a researcher. Someone just like found like a stack of these letters, like so many thrown away pamphlets in like New York City or something, and they just like had a bunch of arrows and they just been like sticking notes to them for fun. Like they're not even trying to warn us. They're just like, hey idiot, here's a note. Pew! Yuma just tackled 3 of them. They're not tough. I mean, they got better, but which I mean they got back up like immediately.
Attack humans? They eat human flesh. Wait, so those zombies roaming around here, those were homunculi? The immortal monsters Grandpa talked about?
Yeah, those ones. The immortal monsters you're so keen on.
Then, Yoshiko and the others back there were just homunculi too?
But they looked so real. What exactly are they?
What do you mean they looked so real? What do you mean they looked so real? What do you mean by that? Are you the theme song to the beloved 80s cartoon Silverhawks? Which inexplicably posits about like a band of adventuring like cyborgs that they are partly metal, partly real? What do you mean by real? They're your friends. They're monsters now. They're still basically zombies. I don't know what you want from me. It looked like a real homunculus, yeah. Which they are, as far as we know. They were just homunculi. Yeah, just like normal homunculi, just innocent homunculi. The homunculi who wander around the restricted area seem to subsist on human flesh. I gotta tell you, I have a really bad feeling about the fact that these are our solution keys. I honestly can't explain to you why, but I feel like it's gonna be bad that this is like how we're spending what I think is our last case.
Well, we at least know they're dangerous. We should get out of here, Master.
They were homunculi. We need more clay and Hebrew wordage. Isn't that specifically golems? Aren't golems technically distinct from homunculi? Even though arguably there's a potentially large quantity of overlap?
Let's go, Kurumi. We need to leave this village right now.
I mean, we could have tried that at any
I don't
point.
even want to imagine what'll happen if they catch us.
They'll
gotta
eat
get
you.
out of here.
Oh my god, they're eating her! And then they're gonna eat me! Or whatever. I guess she did keep saying those meat buns were made out of people. I mean, like, we really have been making Soylent Green out here. It's just not for the populace like we might have thought.
We can get out this way.
I don't know why they give me control if everything's like fully on rails. I never played Final Fantasy 13, but I imagine this is somewhat similar to the feeling that got people kind of upset about that game. Like, there's literally no reason I couldn't step over this. I don't have a pressing need to go over there, but like, there could be a memory of Fubuki over there. I would want that. Have we ever seen a people cube? No. And in fact, we were denied even the very notion of the beautiful human cube that was...
Mailman case?
Oh, what the heck's her name? Something Electra? Lady Killer Electra? What the heck's her name? Someone help me out here. Ahoy, Cotillion. You haven't missed much Raincoat, because we've been going at a very casual, chat-based pace, which I know is bad news for you, because I don't think you like this game. How are you doing, Cotillion? Martina, thank you. Carmen Electra, you understand. Martina Electro. She was supposed to be turned into human cubes, but she was not. She, like, in like the dumbest possible way, too. It wasn't like this huge dramatic reveal where, like, we had seen her turn code, and then we thought she died, and then she came back and rescued us. Like, everything was already, like, elementary and was, like, being taken care of, but she just, like, walks into the room and she's like, I'm supposed to be cubes, but I'm not. And also, I resigned from the police. Goodbye forever. I'm returning to my home planet. It's really stupid.
That one seems a bit calmer than the rest.
I think that just means he's eaten more recently, doesn't it?
Maybe we can talk to him.
What? This is a bad idea.
You wanted to talk to the first zombie, okay? That guy was obviously sketchy. Oh, cool. There's a zombie over there. Can I high-five him?
Stop!
I guess not.
Father? Do you remember me?
Remember me? Oh. I was not prepared for an abrupt and unnecessary QuickTime action. This should be cool. I forgot about his hidden Mickey. There's like a clever idea buried in here that's like not really being capitalized on. Yeah, we definitely stepped on like a zombie, for sure. It was like clear that that was going to happen, and we just didn't do anything about it. Man, this game's like not good at quick time events, and I'm not good at them either. It's not a great combination. Why does Anime Wario Zombie have like claws? The other ones have fingers, don't they? Nope, that was why. Never mind. I got that one wrong. I don't like the stupid Nintendo controller. How is that the way we escaped that danger? Did he always have claws? I didn't notice it. I noticed a lot of things about Anime Wario, but not his claws. I mean, it would make sense that he has them now if he had them before. I just didn't notice it. I mean, do you want them getting out?
This is the restricted area.
Idiot.
But I think we can climb over it. I'll go first, Kurumi. You follow after.
Why are there so many zombos? Well, part of the answer to that, Crit Twitch, is because most of those characters we just saw, actually maybe all of them, are the ones that, like, aren't, like, suspects from our cases. Were those, like, victims whose faces I just don't remember? Is that what happened there? Basically, there's a bunch of zombies there because they want to show off that literally every person we've ever seen die is a zombie now.
Wait! The fence might be...
I'm really glad that that has to be one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Like, you know, the movie Jurassic Park is like a great scene where they like find out that the electrified fence gets turned on, and it's set up really well, and it's delivered really well. And in this game, they're like, wait, that might be an electric fence. Hold on, this exposition zombie is set to beeline straight into the fence to prove a point. Yeah, it's electric. Woogie woogie woogie.
An electric fence?
I knew something was odd.
I like that line read. An electric fence? In this economy?
You would have been roasted if you touched it. Ugh.
Can you confirm that, Anime? Like obviously, like Anime Wario and the Resistance Leader and the high school girls and the priest and the copycat killer, like all of them, obviously people who died. But like, there was like the lady zombie who grabbed our feet, and then like the dude we rolled under. Like those guys, those two didn't look as familiar to me. I'm wondering if they were like Nailman victims or something.
How are we going to get out of here now?
Let's search for an opening in the fence.
Oh, Yuma, look!
Is there an opening like right off camera? Are we just like full on farsing it?
The sound must have drawn them here.
The sound of what? The sound of what? They're just generally whatever, fine. They're drawn to sound, sure. Their eyesight is poor like dinosaur. We're just doing a whole Jurassic Park pastiche. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not entirely sure how this is supposed to be like a dramatic reveal. Like, if it was like, oh, a specific, you know, like Venom like reacts badly to like supersonic sound, like really high frequency waves or something like that. So like that's like actionable information. Zombie hear sound go brr is like nothing. That's nothing.
Oh no, they noticed us!
I really want them to just start doing the thriller. Like, this section is like so tonally confused. I just want them to like corner us and start doing thriller. That's what I want now.
We have to run!
How is it that like every 3 seconds we determine again that we should be running?
Ah! There are zombies over here, too! What are you gonna do, Master? You're cornered!
We're partway there. Start. Come on. Da-na, da-na-na. Dang it, we're just gonna fall down the hill.
I might get wet down there.
I just pressed that to cheer myself up after the Rainy Hill comment before. It made me think of that.
Master! Master!
Wait, if she's conscious, aren't we definitely alive?
It's getting old! Wake up!
I wouldn't put it past this game to have the zombies break out and dance, although that is definitely more of like a Somnium Files thing to do.
That?
Is this the old, like,
Such an ominous building.
nightmare hospital from Until Dawn?
I can hear something inside.
No, you can't. You can't hear something from inside.
It's so massive. Just what is going on in there?
Oh, hang on, I gotta get points. These lights are incredibly bright. I guess this place would be pitch black without them. But Yuma, they're switched on right now. Yeah, someone is watching over this area. We better tread carefully. I like that it's called construction site remains, but it's definitely just the outhouse. It's just a porta potty. It's one of those temporary toilets they always have at construction sites. So does that mean some construction work was being carried out? Looks like a permanent fixture, though. It's a porta potty. It's temporary by nature. Must belong to a toilet collector living nearby. I wish that was a voiced line. I want that line. I don't think so.
Looks like we can get in here.
This whole section of the game is just on rails, except that it's also completely off the rails. I have mixed feelings. Toilet lore confirmed. Sniper Justin, welcome to the stream. Bet the collector has so many donuts. I mean, if they're doing any justice to those toilets they've collected, there's got to be like a dozen donuts by each one, right? At least a half dozen.
Hello?
Looks like some kind of factory.
I really want either just straight up the thriller music to be playing in here or like elevator music and nothing in between.
It's dark and creepy, but it still seems to be functioning.
But no one's supposed to be in the restricted area.
Oh, it must be why they call it the restricted area.
What kind of factory is this anyway?
Is it the supercomputer factory, whose function is still entirely unclear to me after watching Code Lyoko like 1.75 times? Factory operating in the restricted area where no one should be. Cool.
I smell blood.
Why is this part of the fence just open? Because we wrote ourselves into a corner and we wanted to go inside the factory so the game could happen, I think, anime?
Huh? Blood?
You know, now that she's smelled things like twice in a half hour, I do actually vaguely remember her smelling something like relatively early in the game and that catching me off guard, but it's been long enough I completely forgot about it and got caught off guard again.
Maybe there's something here that's related to the restricted area.
What kind of observation is that? It's basically the restricted area. Of course it has something to do with the restricted area.
This could be dangerous, but we should look inside.
Right. We won't be safe no matter where we go anyway.
Hey, do you think Kurumi Wendy is like suddenly gonna have a forensic forte? Like a weird superpower? Because she's like kind of our ally for this or whatever?
This
It hadn't
factory
actually...
feels so creepy. If you spot any red or green herbs, be sure to pick it up.
Why is she suddenly like Deadpool? She's just like talking directly to the camera. It hadn't actually occurred to me until just now that like I had kind of expected the last case to be with Chief Yakko, but then he died. So I guess it makes sense that the last case would be Kurumi Wendy then. Shinigami scratching her ghost butt? Probably. Why does this exist if it does nothing? Wouldn't a golden fiddle weigh hundreds of pounds and sound crummy? Don't know why that phrase constantly just comes to mind. Faculty site. Why is this machine operating? There's nobody here to run it. This is an OSHA violation.
Say,
Getting nothing but bad vibes here. Be careful, master.
What are they building in this factory?
Bad vibes. It's a bad vibes factory. See, this is how you get zombies, is you leave the fence open and then they're just in the factory.
here too.
Now granted, if you can train them to run the machinery, you don't really have to pay them a living wage, which may be why homunculi exist in this world in the first place.
The smell of blood could be coming from them. Maybe they ate someone.
Maybe, but who? A conveyor belt.
It looks like they're making something. What's on top of it?
Hey, Neko. Do you see what I see?
Let's go in a bit further and find out. Yuma? What's wrong?
I think he figured out what's on the conveyor belt. That's very clear from here.
Master?
Nothing. It's just... I got a feeling we shouldn't go any further.
I don't want to think about it.
Why? We might find out the secret of the restricted area.
I know, but...
Neko says, yes, that lady is doing an awful job as quality control. That's definitely exactly what I was thinking, Neko. Good job.
Well, how about you wait right here? I'll go and look.
At some point, it goes from game to poorly constructed movie. But you know what's funny about that? Is like, I love game that is poorly constructed movie. You know that Heavy Rain is one of my favorite video games of all time. Despite, and this is true, it being complete garbage. So, like, if the game was like this the whole time, I would definitely enjoy it more. I still argue that, like, in addition to the fact that a Nintendo console...
to get to Bone Town.
A Nintendo console is especially bad for doing QuickTime events because, like, you can't color match the buttons. I don't know what's happening. Chat's going ham, and I like it. Like... Yeah, I mean, like, I've complained about this before, but, like, the Nintendo controller does not have colored buttons. I know that this is the Pro controller for the Switch, but the same is true for the Joy-Cons. They're all black. So, they're really bad for having a mental shortcut of what button you're supposed to press when the game suddenly throws at you, like, X! Like, I don't know where X is on the controller.
Oh my god.
When I play PlayStation or when I play Xbox, I think of the colors because they associate colors with the buttons. And it saves me a lot of processing time that on Nintendo I like have to stare at the controller like an idiot. So like setting that aside and the fact that Nintendo would be bad for those QuickTime events, if the whole game was like what we're doing here, it would be so much better. Because like, despite the fact that this game has pretty horrendous writing problems, I'm gonna say, like, it has some cool concepts, which is really enough to drive a bad movie video game. We've seen it before. It works. But, like, its own game mechanics have also been abysmal. They're very bad. Like, the reasoning deathmatch and the Shinigami puzzle and the look at circle and read text for points. Like, none of these is good. Even when they incorporate, like, superpowers, you either have very limited control over using them, or, like, they don't functionally do anything at all.
He's talking way too long, and none of it sounds true at all.
That's, you know, you're not wrong. I should stop talking. But the point is, I genuinely think, like, you tease it, oh, it's like a bad movie now. But, like, as a bad movie, it's a vastly superior product.
Hey, Kurumi!
Master, don't tell me you're scared after coming this far.
Nintendo GameCube had colored buttons. A is red, B is blue, C is yellow, Z is purple. Sure, but you know what didn't carry over to this game at all? Any of those colors. Because Nintendo's never really had a universal color system. Like, the buttons on the NES, both red. The buttons on the Super Nintendo, like light purple, dark purple. The buttons on the N64 started following that color scheme. Like, B was red, A is blue? A and B are blue and green. I forget which is which. And then you have the C buttons, which are yellow. We could have carried those over, but, like, not exactly. Like you say, we had the same ones on GameCube, but, like, I don't even think the game started using those colors, like, meaningfully. And so it didn't carry over to the Wii or the Switch. Like, all the buttons on the Wii are the same color, and the same goes for the Switch.
Scared? Of course I am.
Yeah, it's like a bunch of zombies.
No.
It's literally a horror movie. What do you want?
The truth awaits us up ahead. in the guise of a monster.
No part of that sentence is true. The truth awaits us here on the conveyor belt. Soylent Green is people. Which, by the way, you know, Soylent Green is people is like a kind of famous, like, quasi-spoiler, because it's like, the whole story, as I understand it, is just like an investigation of, like, what is Soylent Green? And it turns out it's people. But, like, you can't even call it a spoiler, because I've seen the trailer for that movie, and it just tells you that's true.
Will I really be able to face it?
If you don't like it, you can always run away.
If you don't like it, don't put a ring on
Call
it.
me Dummy Thick.
That's what I have come to understand. Where did Kurumi Wend-i-go?
No.
Where did Kurumi Wend-i-go? It's all coming together.
Shinigami, are you prepared to go with me?
You really need to watch the movie. I probably should. I feel like I would like Soylent Green.
Don't need to ask twice. I'm always with you, Master.
I'm disappointed chat didn't give me more of a reaction for where did Kurumi Wend-i-go. I'm proud of that one.
Kurumi.
Well, look. I thought they'd be making
Scraw.
something horrible.
But they're just meat buns. Nothing could ever be bad about meat buns that are weirdly addictive.
But it's just meat buns. They look nice and fresh.
Oh, we're so screwed.
Huh? Meat buns?
You get it, Sniper. You get me. You get me, Sniper Justin.
But why here, in the restricted area?
Cause Soylent Green is people.
Welcome to the Kanai
These are the
Ward
worst
Special
detectives.
Food Facility tour.
Why is this? Why is this here? Why do we have like a PA system to tell you that Soylent Green is people?
What the? Is this some sort of tour guide?
This factory operates 24 hours a day to provide safe and secure food to the people of Kanai Ward.
So like I like genuinely like I think it has genuinely come together to the point that like I think the implication is that like something about the rain prevents like crops from growing or something. Like maybe it's like poison, or maybe it's just inundates the plants or something. But like because of that, we needed to find an alternate food source, and thus Soylent Green is people.
This is where they make the meat buns we always eat?
All factory manufacturing is fully automatic, so there is no staff on hand.
It's totally automatic.
So there aren't any workers around?
Up ahead,
That's
we
not
shall
true. We saw
demonstrate
quality
how
control
the
zombies.
specialty food is produced.
I wonder if our presence here automatically triggered it to go off.
Why would we need this? Under what circumstance would we need like the secret villainous food production plant to tell you its evil scheme automatically without a human being to monologue? Like, why would this ever be a thing?
I'm not sure. It feels like it was talking to us.
How many people would be needed to make that many buns? About 350, I think. About 350.
That announcement sounds like a trap to me.
But we can't turn back now. I've made up my mind.
Oh? You're acting more like a detective now. You must have one hell of a mentor.
I did, but he died after committing crimes.
Kurumi, let's keep moving.
Remember the key? Homunculi need to eat human flesh. It isn't about crops. They just can't eat vegetables. But Neko, my point is that if the purpose was to sustain the homunculi, you wouldn't need to make produced food. You could just, like, leave the corpses out. But they process the food and then sell it in town. I mean, I guess you could argue that it's like trying to make a profit off the byproduct of feeding the homunculi. But at least at this moment, I don't know of a reason why we would need to keep the homunculi alive. It doesn't seem like the current batch of homunculi do anything to further the research of, like, extending, prolonging, or otherwise aiding life. So, like, I don't have the impression that we need them to stay alive, necessarily.
Yeah. I'm not so scared as long as I'm with you.
Meat buns are zombo food. They literally sell... We've eaten one! We ate them in town! They sell them in town! They're not just zombie food!
Oh!
Meat buns are made and processed here methodically. It's totally normal for a factory, but there's still something creepy about it.
Look at me! I'm a meat bun!
Quit messing
What?
around. Let's go.
What? Why?
Why do you hate fun?
What the heck? Why? Why? Look at me, I'm the meat bun. What's happening? Hold on. I feel like I need to do a new save now. Because I haven't saved at all today. I don't know, man. Don't like that it doesn't remember what the last one I did was. He did the box opening gesture.
What kind of machine is this?
Oh, hang on, I can finally look at
messing with it.
some sort of... These have appeared like 4 times and we haven't been able to do anything.
This is...
Looks like this machine monitors something in the factory. I have no idea what it says, though. No point worrying over things you can't figure out. Forget about it and move on. That's the detective way. Don't try to learn anything. Just ignore everything. Don't you love the consistency of her writing as a supposed mentor for solving mysteries? What's happening back there? There's like 2 zombies like standing next to each other, like moving in some peculiar fashion I can't identify. It like almost looks like they're digging graves or something, but I really don't think that's it. Kind of want a meat bun now. I feel like that's problematic, Neko. That's a way not to waste calories. No food waste in this game. I mean... yeah, but like...
It's called a special food facility, but they're just making meat buns?
Maybe they're using specially chosen meat.
Yeah, they are.
Unique to this factory.
Well, that's arguably true.
Yeah, it's...
Look, it's Amapal.
There's a lot of them here, too.
I think that they're playing Beyblades or something. Okay, he says, I saw Master Detective Archive, but I thought it said Master Detective Ace Attorney. I mean, I have to argue that Phoenix Wright as Ace Attorney is a much better Master Detective than Yuma, for sure.
Coming this way.
Maybe wasting a brain cell trying to understand this game. Yes, definitely true, not arguable, but also not new information. Any amount of time I've spent trying to understand this game has been a waste of time and energy. And every time I try to give this game credit for having a clever story idea, it almost immediately collapses in on itself like a house of cards covered in urine.
Note that there are no staff in this factory, but there are many hungry individuals wandering about.
Why is that part of the tour?
Please be mindful, as they are partial to fresh food.
Fresh food. It's talking about us.
They're eating meat buns, and then they're gonna eat me. Oh my god.
I told you it was a trap.
Shinigami's really annoying because she's never consistently aggressive or passive. She's just always contrary.
How are you gonna get out of this? We can't go to the mystery labyrinth without a case to solve.
Well, going to the Mystery Labyrinth has never reasonably solved any of our problems anyway. But I know that they made Ace Attorney into a theater show. I feel like I heard about it. I know they made that movie, the live-action movie. I feel like I heard about something else that I don't think was the theater show. I feel like I've heard of some other weird thing they did that's not coming to mind. But I do think I had heard of the theater show.
How do we get away from these zombies?
Obviously haven't seen it. Well, we have a solution key that says they are attracted to sound because they're like any creature that exists at all. So why don't we try that? I know, we'll call them poplars.
I know! Sound! The zapping sound from the electric fence drew their attention. So some sort of loud sound may distract them.
Alright, it's worth a shot. Hey, Master, don't you think that Omapal over there might do the trick?
But we don't have an iPad or whatever. Oh, never mind. It's right here. This is so stupid. It's so stupid I'm struggling to breathe. Why do we even have one of those? I'm losing my mind.
The sound is distracting them.
How? Why? Why? Why does this whole hallway exist? Why does this hallway that we... Okay, so we left part of the fence to this processing facility open, basically inviting the zombies to come inside. Questionable, sure, whatever. So the zombies wander into here, and we have, like, a hallway with, on one end, a robot that plays a jaunty little tune and dispenses Soylent Green meat buns. And on the other end of the hallway is a tablet that causes it to dispense the meat buns and the jaunty music. And these zombies are just hanging around, like, what? So I guess I'm led to believe that whoever they were just eating in that pile on the floor was holding the iPad and didn't figure out that they should try to dispense monster bait? Like there's someone in this town that's dumber than Yuma? I don't know, man.
Yuma, look! That spot where the zombies were gathered.
What were they all flocking to?
Oh my god!
Check it out.
We are the worst detective!
I see.
Looks like this machine's blowing air in the conveyor
I
section.
said.
Well, this is a food factory, so maybe it's to keep the place sanitary.
Maybe.
Someone's remains.
Ew, there are bones everywhere. Didn't anyone teach them not to leave their scraps behind?
I think I know whose outfit this is. If I'm right, it's good news. Gotta give the protagonist something to look like they can... No, never mind. Yeah, I've tried a lot, Twitch. I've really tried to give this game a lot of credit, but, you know, sometimes you just can't, actually.
These clothes belong to Tetsuhiko.
Yeah, they sure do. Isn't that fun?
Huh? Tetsuhiko? The short
Yeah, he might have gotten eaten by zombies.
No, it can't be.
Hey, I'll tell you what, if that's literally true and not another fake out, I'll give this game its mature rating.
Please be
I'll give it
mindful of
that for that.
accidents while on the factory tour.
It actually stands to reason because I do believe that Tetsuhiko is so dumb that if he was holding an iPad that could save his life with the press of a button, that he would sooner be eaten by slow-walking zombies than press it.
If you are electrocuted, fall from a great height, or are mistaken as food and eaten,
That, I can't tell you how often that happens to me in my line of work.
you will join your friend in front of you. So please practice caution.
Explain to me why the automated tour is aware that we just witnessed Tetsuhiko's corpse. How does it know that? It's automated.
friend? Then those bones really are...
No way. I don't believe it. I refuse to.
Yuma.
Kurumi, didn't the announcement also say in front of you?
Okay, at least Dimwit Detective noticed that. If we were just gonna gloss over that, I was gonna be really annoyed again. But like, you know, of all the things to be upset about in this scene, I've decided which one I'm most upset about. The implication that Tetsuhiko is my friend.
Oh, that means...
We're being watched? Who's there? Where are you? What do you want from us?
Getting emotional, are we? As a detective, you should know better than that.
The cadence makes me think that it's Makoto. The way that line was read, now that it's addressing us directly, that feels like Makoto.
Emotions must be discarded to reach a perfect solution through a perfect deduction.
But that is the thing that Halara always says, so who knows? I don't know.
I don't want to hear that from you!
Are you sure you wish to make so much noise? They'll start coming after you again.
You know what? That's fair, disembodied haunting voice.
Did you read the warning I presented to you prior to this?
Oh, cool. The disembodied automated voices. taking credit for shooting an arrow at us. That's totally normal.
They only see you as food. If you wish to move on, you should proceed with caution. Now, please enjoy the remainder of the tour.
Warning. The letter on the arrow?
You know, at Hershey Park, they let you, like, tour, like, a subsection of the chocolate factory, and then they give you chocolate at the end. Do you think they'll give me Desahiko's corpse at the end of this tour?
The person behind that voice has been watching us the whole time. We didn't come to this building by accident. We were led here.
I mean, yeah, it's not like a particularly large leap from anything that's happened.
Whoever is talking to us brought us here.
But why?
Because they wanted us to see that they killed Desahiko, I'm hoping. But the fact that someone lured us here and pointed out this corpse really makes me think that they're not serious about this.
Master, look!
Huh? This is Desahiko's handwriting.
It says, please stop eating, and then it cuts off after the M. What do you think they were eating?
Really? Are you sure?
Yeah. The handwriting matches the note he wrote me when I did some shopping. I'm sure he wrote it.
And this corpse really is...
Kanai Ward's history. Kanai Ward was just another remote city in the country. Its development began once Amaterasu headquartered there. 10 years ago, Amaterasu Corporation started their research on homunculi. Top secret research kept from society, which Amaterasu loves for sure. And their client is UG, who spent a ton of money to keep the research secure.
Did he start rhyming? Is this a joke?
It sounds like something he'd write, but the content itself is serious.
Hey, what does it say?
It looks like Amaterasu's homunculus research was funded by the unified government.
Huh? The UG paid Amaterasu Corp to research homunculi?
That explains why they haven't interfered with Kanai Ward's isolation. I'm sure they wouldn't want anyone to know they requested such shady research.
Makes a certain amount of sense. It's been a really long time since it's come up, but doesn't the WDO function sort of outside of the law? So, like, they might investigate something suspicious going on here even if the government was cool with it?
So Amaterasu had dirt on the UG, which is why they can't say anything.
Anyway, says he wrote a note but could not push a button. Then we have some good suggestions in chat as to what his note was saying when he got interrupted. They're eating McDonald's! He's boycotting. Please stop eating meat buns.
Well, if the unified government is involved, this is becoming a conspiracy on a global scale.
Yeah, we have like a name for that. The Great Global Mystery?
When did Tetsuhiko find out about this?
Seems like there's more to it. Why don't you read the rest?
The only thing known about homunculus research is that human beings are created from human cells. DNA is extracted from a human that will serve as a base, which is then used to cultivate human cells. Unlike clones, they don't need to be grown from fetuses, and genetic data from the time of collection is replicated. It's an artificial human whose age, sex, and appearance have been perfectly copied.
Okay.
Human cells from DNA. Copied. Artificial humans?
So, you know, cloning is broke, but homunculus is woke, basically? Like, I mean, pros, homunculus doesn't have to age or be cared for as a child. Cons, does subsist entirely on human flesh. Or goes mad and tries to eat people like zombie.
Master, did your brain melt from how complicated this is? Don't worry, I'll make it all a solution key.
It's probably not better. Desahiko's investigation yielded this report about the homunculus research. Thanks for summarizing that in a really unhelpful way.
Desuhiko must have left this report behind. But I don't believe he's dead.
Yeah, I don't either, which makes me dislike this game more than I did even before.
I'm sure he's with everyone else somewhere.
In the great global afterlife, maybe?
I agree. I'd rather trust in everyone than believe what that voice says. So let's go find them.
They eat fake human-like Beyond Meat, so they eat peas and soy. I don't know, man. I think there's some soy involved, but I think it's Soylent Green because this is the corpse processing facility.
Desuhiko is definitely alive. We have to go find everyone right away.
I like that the robot's still making a stupid jaunty tune. I need to go... He wants me to go towards the corpse.
They're beginning to gather again.
Yeah, they've been there the whole time.
Shh. They'll notice if you get too loud. Let's stay quiet.
This is such a dumb mechanic. You just, like, use the mini-map to find the tablet, and then the zombies don't eat you.
And now that I gotta look at them, they're kinda cute.
I hate it here so much.
Seems before there's something on the floor where that crowd was. Those clothes. Alara?
Oh, how tragic. Despite all my warnings, it seems another one of your friends was devoured.
Despite all my rage, I am still just a voice in a cage.
No matter how strong they think they are, they're powerless against overwhelming numbers.
Oh, that's a great point, Sarah. The fact that Desuhiko could be alive implies the scariest thing of all, that he could just be naked around here somewhere. I really don't want that.
No! That can't be!
Please continue enjoying the rest of the tour.
Thanks, voice. Thank you. I do enjoy the disembodied voices among my favorite parts of this whatever the heck is happening here. Please continue enjoying the tour. Attempt not to be eaten.
Master, look at this.
When the Pirates of the Caribbean
There's
breaks
no
down, the
mistake.
pirates don't eat the tourists.
This is hilarious.
Please come again.
Writing.
Regarding the two research facilities, the unified government has heavily invested in Amaterasu Corporation's homunculus research.
Duh.
However, it appears there was another research facility of the same scale, directly controlled by the UG. They had two research facilities compete with one another in an attempt to further promote development. Naturally, the two facilities became rivals. Competition grew fierce. Soon, they were resorting to any means necessary.
A naked Desuhiko.
Amaterasu Corporation began conducting human experiments, but this did not lead to results.
I was trying to think of a clever way to make that joke, but I was thinking the same thing, Sarah. It'd be if there's also a naked Halara running around, it would be difficult to keep their gender ambiguous for whatever purpose the game deems that necessary.
Meanwhile, the unified government's research facility gathered DNA through extra-legal methods.
Ooh, extra legal. That means it must be super duper legal.
They extracted DNA from particularly superior specimens and used those samples as the core for cells.
Well, that sure sounds a lot like the World Detective Organization, also known as a group of people who has superpowers.
Alara also managed to dig up all this.
This is clearly done under duress by someone who has this information and wants us to know it, but wants us to be scared that we'll get eaten or whatever.
A rival facility to Amaterasu Corp. Things are getting even more mysterious now.
Yeah, that's basically the same thing I think anime. Is that the person who is speaking to us over the loudspeaker has just staged this whole thing. It seems really suspicious that people who are just as clueless as us are suddenly like schooling us on the history of like the unknown homunculus research.
Can you really solve this thing?
I mean, does anyone else hate the fact that instead of like doing the cool and interesting thing of having several cases like escalate over time, where we gradually learn more and more about this ultimate conspiracy theory, and we have to like piece together those clues and theorize them gradually over the course of the whole game while solving mini mysteries that combine into one big interesting mystery by the end of the game. That we did like a whole bunch of nonsense, and then the game basically just tells us how homunculi work. No, I'm the only person who hates that? Okay.
Hey, Yuma. Is there something underneath the clothes?
It's a blue-eyed white dragon!
It's a key card.
My grandpa's deck has no useless key cards, except this one, which only opens the supply closet.
Have you grown tired of the tour yet? Because I sure have.
This is taking forever.
Regardless, you deserve respect. You've lost your home, your friends, and I hear you've even lost your memories.
Now, when you say home, are you implying that my submarine exploded again?
What drives you to keep going to such lengths? Justice? Friendship? Or do you just go whichever way the wind blows?
You know who I am? What do you want?
I should be asking you the same. Why do you want to solve mysteries?
It kind of sounds like what Vivia was saying before, but I'm certain that Vivia couldn't be bothered to do this, even if he's not technically dead.
Because I've asked myself that many times, but still can't find the answer. I
think we're doing it for a Scooby snack.
Continue to solve mysteries.
You know what? At this point, same, Yuma. I don't know why I'm here.
I was able to save people by revealing the truth.
Exposing the truth doesn't always lead to salvation.
No, and frankly, it doesn't make sense that it would have done that at almost any point in this game either.
You should know that better than anyone. You've learned it full well.
It's true. I know. I suffered each step of the way. But then I thought to myself, I don't want to see anyone suffer because the truth wasn't exposed.
Yuma.
That's why I decided, no matter what the truth may be, I will expose it.
He's basically just hard committed himself to like one outcome of the trolley problem. He's like, I will always flip the switch. My action will always change something.
That is my wish for everyone who has fallen victim. What I'm praying for.
Prayer is the loneliest activity one can partake in. Even if your friends prayed, none of you would reach another.
What an insanely weird thing to say.
But please, carry on with your solitary struggle.
At least Yuma is committed to murdering. Yeah, I mean, conviction's important, right?
We're not alone. As long as our thoughts are one, we can fight together. And he's got me, too.
There goes Flatty, taking the spotlight again. He already has me, so he has nothing to worry about.
I know I'm not alone.
Shinigami literally won't shut up.
To everyone else. I'm sure the truth that we seek lies ahead. It may be something terrible, but it's the root of everything in Kanai Ward. We'll bring that truth to light. Let's keep moving. We'll bring the truth to light ourselves.
I'm assuming my keycard conveniently opens this door.
Actually,
Terrific.
there is something that kinda caught my attention.
What is
Why
it?
was that announcement so spiteful toward you, Master?
Yeah, it really hates me.
I don't know, but I'm not gonna stop, no matter what they
hang on.
say.
Maybe look at a large turbine. Huge turbine is spinning. Must be powering this whole section. That's a lot of metal just to slap some meat buns together. That's what she said?
I might get wet down there.
Oh, I found a zombie.
There's someone in there.
They seem a bit different from the others.
We can keep going as long as we remain unseen. Let's leave it alone for now.
Oh, I forgot to mention, but they each have individual differences.
I don't
Perhaps
know what you
there are
mean.
even some you could speak with.
Was that supposed to be some sort of hint?
Forget it. It's probably just another trick.
But what if...
Hey, Yuma!
Wait right here, Kurumi. That looks like...
I forget his name, but it's the furry who murdered people on the train.
I knew it. Zilch!
Yeah, Zilchnada or whatever. Stupid name.
Who's that?
You remember the Amaterasu Express on our way to Kanai Ward?
Nah, not ringing a bell.
Oh, the first soul I reaped in the Mystery Labyrinth. Zilch, the master detective.
It was actually a hitman disguised as Zilch.
So this guy isn't gonna
But he
jump
had
yet?
a forte.
Maybe he's not hungry.
Actually, wait. Did we? No, we never saw him use the forte, right? Because the forte was talk to animals. And he was just sort of like, nah, there's nothing to talk to. So it's functionally like I don't have a power.
I was hired by Director Yomi.
Not at all surprising.
He can talk!
To kill anyone approaching Kanai Ward.
You know, it's been like 75 in-game hours and I still hate that hat.
What's he mumbling about?
I really don't want to get, like, closer.
Do you remember me?
Remember me. Speaking to Torgo. Yeah, he's gonna tell us about the master.
Oh, Director Yomi.
No,
Yeah, Director
I'm
Yomi.
Yuma. We met on the Amaterasu Express.
I'm definitely directly responsible for your death.
I was looking for you, Director Yomi. Where were you? At the lab again? You must love that place. Huh?
So is the notion inexplicably that Yomi was in charge of like the rival homunculus lab and that Makoto is in charge of the main one or vice versa? That they're the heads of the two labs even though like they are ostensibly both part of Amaterasu or whatever? It's like that what's happening?
We can't communicate. He thinks I'm Yomi.
You could pretend to be Yomi, you goofits!
Why don't you take advantage of that and get some info out of him?
Oh, right.
Literally the worst detective. I want to replay this entire game, but replace Yuma with Dora the Explorer. And I think it would be a much better experience. Tell me about me.
Yomi. I mean, tell me everything you know about me.
Director Yomi. You became director of the Peacekeepers about 5 years ago, I believe. Things were good back then. That masked freak wasn't in Kanai Ward yet. It was the ideal environment for my work.
What is your work? If you're some kind of scientist, why were you just functioning as like a high-level assassin? Feels like a weird use of your time and talents.
That was when I worked as one of your closest advisors. It certainly takes me back.
Takes me back to the good old days before I craved human flesh. No, actually, I craved human flesh back then, too.
Did he even answer anything? He's not making any sense.
I mean, literally, all he said is, like, we got a job 5 years ago. Next
Let's
question.
keep playing along for now. We might get some information. If you don't mind, can you tell me what it was like back then?
Back then, you used Dr. Weska to trade with outside military organizations. Amaterasu's growing success was all thanks to your endeavors. You were on top of the world. If anyone dared raise accusations about you, they were shot on sight.
Yeah, that seems like a super cool, chill time to be alive. Even Date is better than Yuma. I mean, like, listen. I got some real problems with AI in Somnium Files 1, which are well documented at this point. But I think it's a good game that's hindered by some bad decisions. including gameplay. I don't know why it's so hard for... I've been saving a little rant on this, and I'll probably talk more about it later. But, like, one thing that has been made abundantly clear by Somnium Files and by Raincode is this. I do think that there's a market for visual novel games that use other game mechanics to supplement the large quantity of, like, reading and storytelling. Like, I think games like the Zero Escape series demonstrate that, and, like, to a much lesser extent, Phoenix Wright, because, like, it's just sort of light adventure game. It's, like, not extremely different from, like, reading, really. But, like, I feel like the thing that we've really failed to take into account in making these particular games is that, like, the gameplay should probably be kind of fun or interesting in its own right. Like, Somnium Files' like weird Somnium worlds are a cool idea that are almost universally badly executed, where, like, it almost always ends up being like trial and error as to how you get to the end rather than some kind of puzzle or interesting gameplay mechanic. Whereas, like, this game is just like a hodgepodge of just like awful mini games. It's like if WarioWare just like hated your guts. Like, it's just like none of the things are something that's like fun or intuitive or interesting in its own right. They're just like things that could be implemented with like minimal logistical considerations to pass time and make you think you're not just playing a novel game, but in reality you're just playing a novel game that punches you in the nuts every now and then. Like, it's just, game really hates you for some reason.
Many hypocrites acting as if they were upstanding citizens were shot on sight.
So, like, my point being that I feel like you could take the premise of one of these games and make it dramatically better simply by giving it, like, actual gameplay. And, like, I don't know, like, that shouldn't be a hot take. Like, I just don't know why it is that they were like, okay, so we've made a whole, like, video game infrastructure. It sucks, and we're not planning on revisiting it, but now let's, like, layer a whole bunch of dialogue on it, and, like, probably make a good portion of that, like, frustrating or unsatisfying. There's our game. Like, I'm not saying that I expect the story to be Shakespeare, but again, I like the game Heavy Rain. Do you know why I like Heavy Rain? Because it's fast-paced, and it's intuitive, and it's fun to succeed or fail in it, because it's all about just, like, making random little choices and just seeing stuff happen, and seeing what the bounds of the game are. And that's, like, exciting. You don't know what's gonna happen. Like, in this game, it's like, oh, I slashed the wrong comment, so I get, like, a bunch of condescending text about how stupid I am, when the thing that I slashed was equally logical to any other option, basically. I'm glad that the game is mad at me for trying to play it. Cool.
In fact, most of them died by my hands. Ha. Ha ha ha. Funny.
Ha.
Don't you think?
Ha.
Didn't Chief Yako's wife get killed for blowing the whistle on the lab's secret dealings? So that's what was going on.
You know, I'm gonna use Dr. Wesker to start trading with outside military organizations. Ask about this place.
Do you know anything about this restricted area?
Zombies. Next question.
Restricted area? Oh. You mean the location of Dr. Wesker's lab?
No, Dr. Weska's lab is located underneath Amaterasu Corp.
Yes, Dr. Wesker's lab. The new lab was made within the restricted area.
Huh?
I heard that Dr. Wesker tried to rush the homunculus research in order to beat the rival lab. So they built a lab about 3 years ago and started an experiment.
An experiment that, let me guess, caused everyone to forget what happened and black out for a week? Maybe like a blank week? And then at the end of that time frame, it was just raining nonstop, continuously for the rest of time.
I think it was called Project Homunculus.
Anyway, it says even Star Rail likes Ace Attorney debate system that they included their own version of it in the game. I didn't know that. I'm only seeing a little bit of Honkai Star Rail, which sounds like a game I should really like, but based on what I've seen, I probably wouldn't actually like it. But like, yeah, I mean, you've probably heard me make like a lot of comparisons to Phoenix Wright in this game, and that's because like they both ostensibly want you to solve a mystery by using a system of clues and logic. But like Phoenix Wright, which came out like, when did the first Phoenix Wright game come out? Like 20 years ago? Like that game had it down to like a pretty good science. It had some problems, but was like solid all around. And this game, which came out last year, is not solid. It's very squishy and rotten.
Was the experiment a success? Or did it fail?
I mean, we made a whole bun factory. You decide.
It doesn't matter.
Master, you hear that? Project Homunculus sounds important!
Some would say moist. You're right. And I would also say that this game has really descended in quality, which is perhaps the flimsiest justification yet to do this.
I might get wet down there.
So Dr. Weska's lab was around here somewhere 3 years ago. Could this be about the secret research?
Shh, secret research.
Well, if he doesn't know if it succeeded or failed, then there's not much more we can ask him.
Damn. Kanai Ward changed. Thanks to that masked freak. It's all his fault.
He started talking again.
That bastard appeared. When was it? Yeah. Immediately after Project Homunculus. There was that event.
I really hope that it was like a Christmas charity ball.
Called the Blank Week Mystery.
The Blank Week
It's just like I
mystery?
said.
The Blank Week Mystery.
Something that they had to literally just tell us about because it never came up organically at any point in the story.
Unfortunately, all I know is its name, and that it's taboo to mention it in Kanai Ward.
You know about that case? What happened?
Kanai Ward changed. Thanks to that masked freak. It's all his fault. That bastard appeared. When was it?
Uh-oh, he's skipping again.
Going in
Reboot.
circles. Ugh, so irritating.
Power cycle zilch.
Yeah. Around the time of the Blank Week Mystery. Right after that, the masked freak appeared out of nowhere.
Anyway, I'm pretty sure you're right about that. Because it would explain... So, anyway, it says that experiment might have replaced everyone in Kanai Ward with homunculi. And it would explain why we need to send meat buns to the populace. And I think it meshes with the messages that we were given when we came here. That, like, they only act like zombies if they're starving. So, like, as long as they're, like, normal people in the city who eat the meat buns, then they can act like normal people. But if they're killed and sent to Corpse Valley, then they'll start to become zombies because they're not functional people anymore. And they're unkillable because all of these people have died but gotten back up, and there's something unexplained about that. Also, why the heck did they make 2 labs for homunculi research and have them compete with each other? Because competition is what drives innovation. It's like the whole concept behind capitalism. And yet for some reason, in the year 2024, like we're talking about consolidating all the media companies to this insane degree. I don't know, man. I think it was just today Video Game Donkey on YouTube, posted this absolutely fantastic rip on streaming services. It's like 4 minutes. It's worth checking out.
And he became CEO of Amaterasu in the blink of an eye. It's so irritating. Right, Director Yomi?
Yeah, totally sure.
That freak ordered the homunculus research to be shut down. Who does he think he is?
What? Makoto shut it down? Tell me more, Zilch.
Is that why he was like so insistent that like homunculi don't exist? Even though he's probably the voice who's been like leading us all these clues and whatever?
Director Yomi, I was looking for you. Director Yomi, where were you?
This must be what it's like for my mom to watch a time loop movie. I know she's not big on them, even though they're like my favorite genre. So like, I feel like if you don't like those movies, I feel like this is what it feels like. Is that achingly slowly saying the same thing over and over?
The lab again. Oh, you must love that place.
I would love to stop talking to this guy.
Guess he's glitching out.
Zilch.
Director Yomi, you became director.
Now he's answering my questions without even being asked.
Peacekeepers. About 5 years ago.
The best time loop movie is that episode of Stargate SG-1, Change My Mind. I don't know if I'll change your mind. Hallmark actually made a Hanukkah time loop movie this past year, and know that I'm being totally serious about this, because I wouldn't normally recommend a Hallmark movie broadly to the people who watch my stream. I don't think most of you are here for it. That movie is probably for you. It's really good.
Things were good back then.
It's no use. He's like a broken record.
And if it helps sell you on this, which it should, the movie is called Round and Round, and it involves a magic ancient dreidel. So watch it.
Well, based on what he said, Dr. Weska's lab was apparently somewhere near here 3 years ago. And something called Project Homunculus was carried out there.
And then after that, the so-called Blank Week mystery occurred.
But the real question is what the Blank Week mystery even is. I haven't asked Kurumi about it yet. It's supposedly taboo in Kanai Ward, but she may know.
Okay, here's a new theory. So what if the rain was intentionally created to be artificial and constant, so that there was the excuse of the incredible humidity that would cause bodies to rot, so that like there was a reason to just like expedite getting dead bodies the heck out of town because they wouldn't function normally in society or whatever. Like to maintain the illusion that we are a society, like it's important to remove the people who are supposed to be dead, so they have to go somewhere else. But they have to do it quickly before the people get back up, because killing them doesn't kill them, because they're immortal monsters. And so we had to make the rain so we could be like, oh no, we have to like get them out of here or whatever.
The Flatty will probably tell ya. Try asking.
Koto arrived in Kanai Ward shortly after the Blank Week mystery and ordered the cancellation of homunculus research. Give him a hug. Mysterious Blank Week mystery is a taboo subject in Kanai Ward. How many times has this game just stated facts? Like a ton.
Gone? Where'd she
Like,
go?
that conversation was already repetitive. The fact that they felt the need to put a cap on it by having us recap it was just actually insane. also, and I'm just not going to get that many opportunities to ask it, so I'm going to say it again. Where did Wend-i-go?
Hey, keep it down, will ya? They'll come for you again.
Where did Kurumi Wend-i-go?
Got her.
If they had, she'd at least scream, but I didn't hear anything.
It doesn't seem likely that she would have left of her own volition, but it seems insane that we would not notice it
She
also.
probably wandered off somewhere. I wish she'd stop dragging us down.
Nico says, I think rain being needed as an excuse to remove the bodies quickly would be too convoluted considering Kanai Ward is run with an iron fist. Go ahead and tell that to me, the person who's been arguing this entire game that they rule the town with an iron fist and they should just kill us, and yet they haven't. They tell us that they're like a fascist pseudo-state, but at the same time, they've never killed us. So, I think that it's exactly the type of convolution this game would use. Changed my mind.
I don't think she turned back without good reason. Maybe she really did go on ahead. I'd better hurry and catch up. Where the heck did Kurumi go? We have to find... Hey, is that...
Aw, we're too late. I bet flat meat doesn't taste very good.
I have to do something!
Oh my god, they're eating her, and then they're gonna eat me, etc., etc. I hope you came here for that same Troll 2 reference like 30 times. I love...
That's right.
I love that Shinigami is such a reprehensible character that generally sweet and mild-mannered Neko is calling her out as the B word. I'm not arguing that, I just think it's remarkable.
Vivia. There's no sign of Kurumi.
Did the anemic vampire get whacked too? Well, he was half dead to begin with.
I think more importantly, it's genuinely what he would have wanted. He's told us many
How
times.
awful. Another one of your friends has been devoured.
I know, I hate when that happens.
Stop saying that!
Master, never mind that. Look!
I mean, after the whole, like, first submarine explosion incident, like, the more insistent the game is that they're dead, the more certain I am that they're not.
It's a report. This is definitely Vivia's handwriting.
I really hope that at least one of these is just like a book report on the very hungry caterpillar or something. Look, it's a report. He was so hungry that he ate for 7 days. First, he ate an apple. What the heck's going on?
Regarding homunculus characteristics, homunculi do not die. Rather, even if they die, they come back to life. The unified government sought out and began research for military applications of homunculi. Their desire was to create an immortal army. Homunculi look identical to humans. You cannot tell them apart from one another in everyday life.
Except when they're, like, eating human flesh or whatever.
They can become injured and ill. Some are handicapped, some are blind. But once they die, everything is repaired upon revival.
Alright, that sounds like that's finally, like, a piece of actual plot-relevant information about homunculi. I'm not immediately sure what that means, but it probably is important.
Death acts as the switch for rebuilding their cells. It only takes 1 day.
That sounds really stupid.
They are immortal and even have eternal youth. Their cells may grow, but they never deteriorate. They stop aging once their bodies stop growing. Those who have already stopped growing maintain that state. There are many unknowns regarding homunculus memory, but they seem to inherit those of their originals. The memories at the time of DNA extraction are carried over and completely reconstructed in the brain's memory field.
Actually, wait. Alternate theory. Alternate theory. Maybe, somehow, and I'm not sure why this would be the case, but maybe all of the detectives have, like, a real and homunculus counterpart within Kanai Ward. And, like, one of them was actually eaten by the zombies just now. But, like, probably not the one we're actually friends with? Question mark? Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure that Neko's early insistence that Makoto is, like, our homunculus doppelganger is probably true. I don't think I would have pegged it as early as she did, but, like, everything, even down to, like, I think they have the same voice actor, just using, like, some amount of, like, pitch control or voice modulation. And, like, that did register for me, and that is suspicious. But, like, also the fact that, like, whoever's, like, talking to us now is trying to, like, study our behavior and understand how we think makes me think, like, one of us is a homunculus and they're trying to, like, understand real human or vice versa or something. I don't know. Also, he's just been, like, shady AF, and, like, a bunch of his motivations, like, don't make any sense, and he's in charge of the company that makes homunculi, or did, or whatever.
It keeps the original's memories?
Anime asks, why do they need an unkillable zombie army? The WDO is their police force. No. So, I mean, we don't really have a framework for global politics that truly explains the need for a zombie army. It leads one to think that, you know, there's something resembling familiar political strife or whatever. But the WDO, so, like, the world actually, it is weird. The unified government, which, like, is implied, I don't think it's ever really clearly been stated how the UG works. Maybe it was, like, really long time ago. But, like, the unified government sounds like it's, you know, like a world government. And they're the ones who funded homunculus research. So, like, if the governments of the world are united, I don't know what purpose there would be for making a zombie army. Especially because the only obvious thing to do with a zombie army at that point is to stage a coup against the world's government. So, like, I don't really know, but maybe there's some nuance that the game didn't bother to tell me that explains that. As for the WDO, they function outside of the world government, and they, like, specifically send us here to, like, learn the stuff that they don't want to tell people. So, like, I wouldn't say that the WDO is, like, a world police force. It's like, this is going to be a terrible analogy because no one's going to understand it. It's like the Foundation for Law and Government, which is the fictional organization from the TV show Knight Rider, which is basically just, like, an organization that, like, fights crime and isn't associated with the actual government.
None of them seem to have their memories, though.
Well, Zilch did remember the past. Maybe that's the individual differences that was mentioned.
Water tank container.
He's talking way too long, and none of it sounds true at all.
There's only one way to tell a homunculus and a human apart. Blood. Homunculi have special characteristics to their blood.
Oh, that's so stupid.
Their blood's characteristics? That's the only way to tell them
Vivi's investigation yielded this report about homunculus characteristics.
Huh? Hey, wait!
See, the problem I have with that is, in theory, if the WDO characters from the Nocturnal Detective Agency are from outside Kanai Ward, then, like, one of them should have questioned the weird pink blood, if that's really what we're driving at. So, like, I guess that further suggests that all the people within the bounds of Kanai Ward are homunculi, because it doesn't seem weird to them that the blood is pink, or something, Maybe it can't die, I won't believe it. But Naruto says I should believe it. Probably missed some points back there that are made up and don't matter.
I don't know why.
I mean, they had to go down, right?
To me.
Called? By that thing?
It would be weird for Uma to never question it, unless maybe he's homunculus. I don't know. If he's not homunculus, it would be super weird. If he is, I can sort of believe it.
It's gone. Where did it go?
I hope we meet the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles down here.
That figure, is that...
Who is it? A friend of yours, Master?
I wasn't really paying attention. It should probably be obvious if I was.
So, we gotta track him down, huh?
Squish, squish, squish.
Where did you go? Maybe this way?
We've literally been walking down a straight path. Maybe this way? Really hung up on these horror game references. Ow! If the lights are on, the rest of this place must have working electricity too. Doesn't seem like anyone lives here. Why is the power still on? Useless points. I'm just gonna go through this door. Nope. Okay.
Someone destroyed that giant shutter. It looked pretty sturdy. It would take a huge amount of force to make it look like this.
Also, to your point, Demolition, that they're treading on some dangerous verbiage. I mean, they did, like, almost start this section by saying, like, homunculi were made from particularly good individuals or something like that. It's like, okay. Question mark. Perhaps because of the daily rainfall, some people in Kanai Ward don't mind getting wet.
I might get wet down there.
Thanks, loading screen. Oh no, it's Jam!
Stairs? Looks like they lead underground.
You're still going, Master?
Yeah. I have a feeling I need to talk to that person.
I hope it's the dog that sells umbrellas.
Up ahead.
Oh
Master,
no.
You could be falling for a trap, you know.
No!
That's possible.
I don't know if I don't know if I can impart this to you with the gravity that is required of it.
Good point. Whether a zombie or death god pops out comes down to your luck, Master.
The control scheme just changed to World's End Club. This is what World's End Club feels like. And I will remind you that the guy who created this game worked on World's End Club. It was a collaboration between him and Uchikoshi, the guy who did the Zero Escape games. I don't want to go back there. Unless maybe we can wipe out Kanai Ward with a meteor shower.
This corridor goes on forever. How much longer till we reach the end?
And I wonder what lies ahead.
This is not useful dialogue. Hello. Goodbye. Oh, hang on.
Dr. Weska? What are you doing here?
I tried to walk straight past it, but the kid wouldn't let me be that stupid.
Hey, it's you.
Yeah, it's me, Yomi Hellsmile or whatever. Okay, I don't love that, Mr. Owl. How many licks to the center of a homunculus without biting?
Hey, it's you. You.
Yeah, lay down that sick remix, Dr. Weska. It's you, it's you.
He can talk, but he's also bugging out.
Dr. Weska, please, tell me about the homunculi.
It seems extremely convenient that only, like, major characters who might know something about the nature of homunculi are able to speak to me.
You were researching homunculi, weren't you?
Homunculi.
Homunculi.
How do you know about the biggest stain on my life?
I asked the furry upstairs and down the way.
Oh, he spoke normally.
He's probably reacting to the word homunculi. He doesn't seem to have completely lost his memories.
I think decomposition is pretty advanced with him. In fairness, that was true before he died.
Doctor, what happened to the homunculus research?
Such a terrible memory. I'm ashamed to say my homunculus research with Amaterasu Corporation fell behind.
I just had the absolute dumbest idea of all time. Are you ready for this? I would like for some, like, creative individual making games who's, like, had a game that was, like, not a critical success, like, people ended up not liking it. And I'm going to use World's End Club as an example here because I feel like it'll make my point. So, like, I'd love it if someone like the guy who made this game worked on World's End Club and was like, oh, that game actually isn't very good. I wouldn't mind it if people forgot about that. And then, like, made a future game that was better, that, like, talked about the events of that game like it was the worst thing that ever happened to them. They were like, oh, the biggest stain on my life was making World's End Club.
Rumor had it the UG's
It's a very
research
stupid idea.
facility was on the doorstep of a successful experiment.
In fairness, weren't both research facilities UG-funded research facilities?
So in order to catch up, the homunculus test site up ahead was constructed.
There's a
I hope
homunculus
it's a
test site
skate
up
park with a
ahead.
half pipe.
Is that the real secret lab?
Shh, secret lab. Stop talking about it.
I was getting impatient. I used every method imaginable to complete the research first. Do you dare criticize my methods?
I mean, I feel like I should, yeah.
No.
I thought so. Sacrifices are necessary during experimentation. I needed our experiment to complete a homunculus first, to silence that pesky unified government.
Okay, again, I can't stress this enough. By your account, the government funded both of you, did it not? This is my understanding of the information you have given me.
To conduct the experiment in utmost secrecy, I purchased the entire surrounding village.
Wow, it must be nice to have that kind of thrown around money. Here I am trying not to spend money on avocado toast.
And made it a restricted area. And so, 3 years ago, the fateful Project Homunculus began.
What happened in that experiment?
It's like literally the code name for making the game World's End Club.
Well, of course. You. What happened to my experiment? It's been a week since it began. Tell me now. What happened during the blank week?
What?
Tell me. Tell.
You'll find out. I'm about to summon it. Tell me.
Ugh, he keeps breaking down at the worst time. Maybe he just needs a good smack.
I don't want to touch him.
Was mentioned again.
He can save his $5.
Maybe it has something to do with the experiments that took place here.
The homunculus test site was located inside the restricted area. Anyway, it says, to my understanding, there's only one actual government and then Amaterasu Corporation. Now, I'm not clear if there aren't, like, a functional, like, unified government that oversees individual states or whatever. Like, that might be true. And, like, maybe that is meant in some way to justify the need of a zombie army. It's not clear. So, like, again, we've sort of failed to do a world... So, it's a little problematic in a serious way that, like... I don't know exactly how to put this. like, if you want me to care about the ramifications of something on a global scale, I need to have some appreciation of what the world looks like. We've spent basically our entire life in this game in Kanai Ward. The only exception being the brief period of time before we got on the train and arguably on the train ride to get to Kanai Ward, which was the sum total of a broom closet and a train ride. So, like, it's hard for me to appreciate the intentions of that government or the ramifications of that on people. Like, I feel like I have a reasonably good sense of what the game has told me about the world, but what the game has told me about the world doesn't really paint a full picture and sort of prohibits me from, like, caring terribly about this. Now, I'm not saying that that level of carelessness is the only problem here, because this game has definitely caused you to emotionally tune out on it to some extent. It keeps trying to, like, fake out character deaths in this, like, increasingly irritating way and stuff like that. But, like, for real, like, they're like, oh my god, it's a global conspiracy. But it's, like, hard for me to relate to it in an emotional way because, like, our world doesn't work like whatever this is. And so without you, like, explaining it in a way where it makes sense to me, it's hard for me to be like, oh man, like, that sucks in a way I totally appreciate. Yeah, exactly. You could, like, if you're not gonna go the route to, like, paint, like, a whole world with governmental conflicts and whatever, which I get is a big investment, but like Anime says, like, at that rate, just, like, make it Amaterasu Corp went rogue and, like, wanted to make a zombie army because it wanted to control the unified government. Like, at least that I can understand. It's like, oh yeah, a company did an evil thing and tried to rule the world. Like, that I can understand. That's a Tuesday, you know? Like,
Whatever it is, we should keep moving. The homunculus testing site is up ahead.
I like to imagine that it's not an experimental place to make homunculi, but it's basically an elementary school for pre-existing homunculus.
Right.
Homunculi.
Let's see it for
Homunculus.
ourselves. First, let's summarize all we've learned about the homunculi.
Oh, Lord, save me.
Sure, I'm all ears.
10 years ago, the unified government requested that
Slow
Amaterasu
camera
Corporation
pan.
conduct homunculus research. 3 years ago, to compete with the UG's research facility, they built the homunculus testing site.
Okay. Literally correct me if I'm wrong, but that is not what they told us before. Didn't they say that the world government funded 2 sites? Now, between Weska and this statement, we're saying that Amaterasu went rogue trying to compete at the same research. But I'm fairly certain that's literally not what they said before. I'm, like, certain that they said something different.
That's where Project Homunculus took place, but we don't know exactly what that entails. And right after the
Black Set
experiments,
doesn't work here,
a
unfortunately.
blank
Oh,
week
hang
mystery
on.
occurred.
Nope. Thought it was moving again.
The masked guy, Makoto Kagetsuchi, appeared at Kanai Ward right after that, too.
He somehow got ahead of Peacekeeper Director Yomi and became CEO of Amaterasu. He halted the homunculus research, and as a result, the homunculi became an urban legend in Kanai Ward.
And now, 3 years later, you and I descended on this ruined, oppressed land of Kanai Ward.
I mean, it's got to tell you something about how on the rails the gameplay has become, that they, like, literally decided to make it a 2D platformer without jumping. Like, they've had us basically go down linear hallway for long enough, they're like, screw it. Just literally make it a 2D hallway you can't deviate from.
Look! Another really tough-looking shutter has been completely beaten up!
This is a cutscene with extra steps. There's your blurb for the back of the box. You were joking before Demolition, but I feel like that's how you summarize this whole game.
What happened here? Is this the homunculus testing site?
For some reason, this reminds me of the end of that game, House of Ashes, that I played on Halloween like 2 years ago or something. Don't you end up in, like, a weird, like, alien underworld or something after, like, descending into the caverns below whatever country that took place in. I don't remember.
Yuma.
Mima?
Huh? Shinigami, did you hear that voice just now?
Not really. Must have been the wind.
No.
Oh no, the wind
someone
broke.
Call my name.
Anyway, it says, I'm pretty sure the world government went and requested Amaterasu do homunculus research, and Amaterasu made 2 different labs to have them compete. That is pretty close to my initial interpretation. It was a little unclear in the initial information given to us whether the second site was also part of Amaterasu. If it was, I agree with your earlier complaint as like, why would you make 2 of them if they're both run by the same company? But I will also grant you that my understanding was not initially like completely certain that was the case. However, either way, like, I don't like this weird retcon they're doing to the thing they just like exposited directly at me, where like at first it sounded like all of it was funded by the world government, and then they're like, stupid world government infringing on our dark science experiments or whatever. Yeah, it was a Middle Eastern country, and I don't know which one, and I like almost was just like, you know, Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and I thought that sounded insensitive, but I just genuinely don't remember which one it was. I just remember there was supposed to be an American military presence there, so it was probably one of those. It's the exact place you watch the VOD multiple times. That makes me so happy, Justin. You've made my day. Also, I'm glad that my recollection is correct enough that you're like, yes, your obscure reference is correct. Should I just go back? Actually, I'm assuming they were behind me. Maybe that person was supposed to be in front of me. Nigga says, this game is why I hate visual novels. Visual novels aren't games. They're audiobooks with button prompts and the slowest pacing imaginable. You're not wrong. I like visual novels in theory, but most of them are just that. I can't argue that. The reason that I get excited when they release games like this is because of the promise that with the budget required to make a game on this scale, that they've figured out the thing I was complaining about earlier. That the way to do a visual novel to get people who don't like visual novels interested, but still maintain interest from people who like visual novels, is to give them self-compelling gameplay. Gameplay that you would be somewhat interested to play, even if you weren't invested in the story. Like, this doesn't seem like rocket science to me. It feels like making games fun should be a relatively obvious primary goal. And so to me, to like spice up the slow-paced, very like wordy experience of reading through essentially a novel as a video game experience, you add like fast-paced gameplay that doesn't require a lot of thinking, or in the case of like 999, something that's very much on theme, that's like very thought-oriented but appeals to someone who likes stories and solving mysteries and things, which I don't think that Somnium Files or this game do well. Somnium Files is like chaos. You can just never tell if you're winning or losing when you're playing the gameplay segments, which are few and far between relative to the amount of like narrative there is. And then like this game is like trying to do fast paced, but it like wants you to think really hard really fast, and that just doesn't even make sense. It's just like a 100% frustrating experience in and of itself. It's all the tedium of a walking simulator with none of the payoff. Yeah, that's fair. Commentary just makes you laugh every time on the silly moments. Random question. Did you manage to play the latest one called Devil in Me? I think I bought it. I had it on the short list of games to play this last Halloween, and I put up a poll, and I think it like just narrowly missed the cut of being one of the games we played for Halloween, partially because the games that ended up being more popular ended up taking longer than I expected. I will definitely be playing that at some point. I also haven't yet played the Quarry, which is kind of similar, but isn't actually a Dark Pictures anthology game. But also, thank you for those kind words, Justin. I appreciate that. Echo says, I love Phoenix Wright, but that's because as well as putting personality and fun into the cases, they have actual gameplay sections. Yeah, I mean, like, I would still argue that even though I agree with you fully, that, like, the gameplay sections in Phoenix Wright are a little light on the sort of concept I'm talking about. Like, it appeals to me because, as I sort of alluded to earlier, I consider it to kind of just be, like a light adventure game, and I'm disposed to liking that, so, like, I appreciate that about the Phoenix Wright games. But, like, in my mind, the lesson to take away from the success of Phoenix Wright and the Zeroscape games is that visual novels can be pretty popular with the appropriate crowd if you make the gameplay good, not just for its own sake. You're excited for the quarry? That's good. I'm glad someone's excited for it. I know not everyone is into those games, but I tend to like them. Because, you know, like, again, I feel like my vibe as a streamer is very much like one-man band Mystery Science Theater on a budget, which I guess really just is Mystery Science Theater, if we're being honest. But, like, I play a lot of narrative-heavy games. Because I don't know if this stream has been any indication to you, but every now and then I kind of just like to pause and complain about the stupid thing happening in the video game. And I feel like games like this are a good conduit for that, which is not the case in like a first-person shooter or something.
Could we be outside of Kanai Ward?
It's so stupid. It's not raining, so it's not Kanai Ward.
I can smell the ocean.
Lalamau.
Maybe this was built over the sea.
Wasn't the... I'm just gonna put this out there. Wasn't the facility at the start of World's End Club underwater? I'm just saying.
Whatever, let's go!
It's pretty bad in here. I mean, let's take a moment to appreciate that given just this amount of what we can see, there is an extremely large number of pods in which you could make homunculi. Further supporting the theory, capital T. Ooh, rivals Until Dawn's funny moments. That's a bold claim. I honestly feel like a lot of the games Supermassive has made since Until Dawn have underperformed. Not that they're bad, other than maybe Man of Medan. I thought that one was pretty not great. The others have been, like, fine. They haven't been bad. But, like, Until Dawn had this, like, magic to it that I don't feel like they've been able to recapture.
You sure? Don't tell me you're bugging out too. Now you're hearing things. Poor Master.
I'm not going crazy. I really did hear a voice.
Yeah, that facility was underwater. Yeah. Yeah, World's End Club. Just saying. Oh, hang on. Let me get these points before I... Oh, I'm sorry. I got a third dimension all of a sudden. I got really disoriented.
This is...
Seems like this console controls the machines on the other side of the window. Which ones? Which ones? None of the machines are doing anything. Well, it's an abandoned lab. Creepy machine. I can see a giant ominous machine through the window. Is it used for homunculi research somehow?
What?
It's giving me heebie-jeebies. Let's stay away. Hold on. Some sort of control device? There's a message on the control unit that says none of the machines are in operation. That wasn't even worth points?
You there.
Mima? I'm gonna keep doing that joke until someone laughs. It's not funny. Laugh anyway. I agree. Until Dawn is just top tier. It really is. I mean, like, listen, I've talked a lot, this stream in particular, about how I love Heavy Rain. And, like, Heavy Rain is the same way, where, like, I have enjoyed David Cage games since, which I know is something of a controversial take, because he is a horrendous person. But, like, I think his games have come closer to recapturing the magic of Heavy Rain due to his inability to just be serious. Like, he just can't manage it, so the games still come out, like, stilted and janky and weird in a way that's, like, a lot of fun to, like, make fun of and enjoy and whatever. But like I think both Heavy Rain and Until Dawn are like in a way like kind of like way ahead of their time in a way that I don't think of a lot of games accomplishing. Like one of the only other examples that comes to my mind, and I have a very specific subset of familiarity with games, so don't take this as a broad, all-encompassing take on the games industry, just my own personal take. But the other one that comes to mind is Maniac Mansion, because like Maniac Mansion was like an open-ended game in a way that like games still can't really manage to do. Yes, good, I coerced everyone into laughing at my very funny joke.
Hey, this guy can actually talk. Who is he?
I've never
Is it
met him
Terror?
before.
Is this the guy calling you, Master?
No, I don't think so.
Neko says, considering homunculi will regenerate all their cells in just one day and then they come back brainless, it's a miracle they're all fully dressed. We could be getting chased by naked zombies this whole time. I would make some joke about how that's how this game avoided getting a mature rating, but I'm still not like 1,000,000% sure how we got there. And since it does have a mature rating, we might as well have had a bunch of naked zombies. I don't know.
My name is Yuma. Who are you?
What? You don't know who I am?
I'm super duper important.
You must live in the boonies.
Is this guy the old CEO of Amaterasu?
I'm the CEO of Amaterasu Corporation.
See, I could be a detective in this world.
I conceded that post to someone else a little while ago.
Conceded? You mean to Makoto Kagutsuchi?
There is something weird about... I think Neko was, mostly joking about these clothes comments and whatever, but there's something weird about the fact that they, do remain clothed, do keep the extremely filthy clothes on, and, just don't do anything about it. If they have some amount of cognizance resembling, a functional person, it feels weird for them to just be like, yeah, for the period of, no less than 3 years, I just hung out here in my filthy, dirty leisure suit.
Oh, you're a Makoto's acquaintance. You'll have to excuse me, then.
Justin, a kindred spirit. A lot of love put on the Maniac Mansion series. Maybe even Grim Fandango, too. Yeah, I don't think Grim Fandango holds up as well as I would like, but it still holds up reasonably well. If you haven't seen it on the Renegade Constabulary YouTube channel, I made Tech play it a long time ago. I don't actually care to speculate how long ago that was, because it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but I know it's that long ago. Because today I had the realization, something has been around for about 4 years. I'm like, 4 years ago is when the coronavirus started. So, everything is old now.
A friend of his is a friend of mine. How about a glass of wine, too?
Sorry, I'll pass. Besides,
I'm pretty sure it's blood or brains or something.
Very well. What is it? Ask me anything.
Sweet. I'm the CEO of Amaterasu Corp, AMA.
This guy can actually communicate. Hans seems a lot more alert than the others. Master, now's your chance to get some answers.
Are you really the guru of the Quickie Mart or whatever? Really? Really?
I would like to ask you about the Blank Week mystery.
The Blank Week mystery. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened.
Man, someone should have written something down.
What?
But piecing together the bits and pieces I know, I do have an idea.
Even though I kind of, for various reasons, need to get a serious answer from this character that they made up just to deliver this exposition, part of me still wants him to just, rattle off some completely unhinged theory. As I recall, the Beanie Babies were filled with plastic pellets that turned out to be spider eggs, and they all hatched and bit us with psychogenic chemicals that caused us to forget an entire week as they ran themselves out of town. which is like based on a clickhole article. I didn't actually make that joke up. I adapted it, but someone else wrote that. Esco, speaking of Maniac Mansion, if you could get a copy of Day of the Tentacle, would you want one? I mean, I have it on the PlayStation 4 or something. I mean, sure. I know this isn't a hypothetical question. I could fairly easily be persuaded to play that game again on stream. I don't know if anyone actually wants that. But, like, if I was going to play it on stream, I would definitely get it on Steam. I would spend more money to pay the developers of maybe the best adventure game of all time in order to play it on a system that makes logical sense. David Tentacle was given free with PSN. I'm pretty sure that happened after I bought it, because like as soon as it was available on PlayStation 4, I got it so we could play it on the Renegade Constabulary channel, because I really wanted Tech to play that one, because again, I think it is maybe the single best adventure game of all time. I mean, it's a subjective category, but I think despite some ridiculous puzzles, like, it is very well written and constructed, and it has cartoony elements, but it like leans into them. They're deliberate. It's not just like goofy stuff like having the old CEO shamble up in a dirty suit and tell you the plot of the game. That was LucasArts? Yeah, that was still LucasArts. I think we got the original CD-ROM for Day of the Tentacle out of that like multi-pack of like LucasArts adventure games that we got famously. Yeah, not a hypothetical question. For some reason that alert came up distorted and I couldn't see the name, but I'm pretty sure that Demolition just gifted me Day of the Tentacle. Thanks for that. Thank you. But yeah, for some reason I always want to say that came with the... I think we must have gotten a different multi-pack too or something. Like around the time we got that like weird like sampler pack that I think also had the demo for Full Throttle in it. Like Full Throttle hadn't come out yet, but they were like starting to like try to hype it in like the pre-internet days. But like we also got like King's Quest V like right around that same time, which is like maybe the only King's Quest game I've really invested time into, and I've never beaten it. I've seen some people do playthroughs of it, but like, my god, that game is obnoxious. There are like so many ways to die and lose because it's like so Sierra.
Back then, a plot about the unified government planning to occupy Kanai Ward had been uncovered.
Okay. That almost helps clarify something. Yeah, it's not lost on me, Neko, that you are one of the true appreciators of the game Full Throttle. I used to love Full Throttle as a kid. It always... Like, I always thought that game was so much longer because it took me forever to beat it. And I think we did it in, like, 2 streams or something. It's like an 8-hour game. Which, like, one of the things I got for Christmas is the remake of... Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars, which I kind of want to play on stream this year. It's apparently estimated at 12 hours, and that kind of depresses me because I'm like, I'm pretty sure that was like a 60-hour game for me. One of the funniest things in Day of the Tentacle is getting Dr. Fred to sign the contract for royalties. Yeah, that's pretty good. There's a lot of good stuff in that game, though. For some reason, I weirdly often think about that puzzle where, like, in the past, you have to, like, have Hoagie, like, switch the 2 mattresses so that he can, like, sit on one and, like, make a squeaking sound that, like, distracts a cat downstairs or something like that. And just, like, when you tell the game to do it, it cuts away to, like, the floor below where there's just, like, 2 guys trying to, like, model for and sculpt a statue. And it just, like, does, like, all these cartoon sound of it. It's like, thud, drag, 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 squeak, 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 thud, or something. It's, like, so stupid. But it's, like, really well thought out for what it is. But it's so stupid. Again, really cartoony, but it's like doing it on purpose. I think they even have some like good kind of understated comment on like, so that's happening, but I forget what they say. I just so distinctly remember just like all the like weird sound effects like playing out at the top of the screen. Castle says, I remember being excited for the return of Adventure Game with Broken Age. Oh, me too, Castle. I remember that. Those were sad times. That game is bad. That game has like some fun stuff in it, but it's like mostly bad. It's like mostly a bad game.
The UG wanted Kanai Ward?
Also, yeah, excellent use of Squeak Squeak.
From what I understand, the Blank Week mystery is a conspiracy the UG set up to take over the city.
I know I'm biased, but I do feel like it says something about the quality of the writing in this game that like they're basically trying to tell me the big twist and I like kind of don't care at all. They're like, so the government was trying to take over Kanai Ward, which something zombie army.
Why would the unified government want Kanai Ward?
Resources? I don't know.
No idea. I suppose it's to steal the rights to Amaterasu Corporation.
You see, we were on the verge of making this incredible video game called the World's End Club, and I think they wanted the rights for merchandising purposes.
As a matter of fact, Kanai Ward was wiped from the map for some time, just as the UG wanted.
That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know how that could possibly be true.
But we were saved by my friend, Makoto Kagutsuchi.
Oh, apparently that's the logo for the unified government. It is a fact. The unified government once planned to occupy Kanai Ward. Alright, again, I'm going to call into question this game's method of determining what is factual. A zombie told us this was true. That's one zombie's account. I'm not sure that makes this a definitive fact.
How did Makoto overcome the threat of Kanai Ward disappearing?
He appeared from nowhere and volunteered to negotiate with the UG. Rumor is, he has a special connection within their ranks.
They were roommates.
I didn't expect much from him, of course, but it wasn't as if we had any other choice. And before we knew it, the negotiations were complete.
Now, in and of itself, that's not a positive indicator. Before we knew it, they decided unilaterally that we were going to die.
How?
Upon arriving at the negotiation table, he immediately announced that Kanai Ward would be isolated.
What? How would that be good? How would that satisfy them? If they wanted to occupy Kanai Ward, why would Kanai Ward, like, making itself a nation be better?
Unexpectedly, the UG agreed. Both sides accepted a non-intervention condition and concluded negotiations.
Okay, we're definitely back at that point where, like, I really struggle to accept or understand this without a broader knowledge of the world. That's just like a really confusing thing to have happen.
I suspect some sort of secret arrangement was made regarding homunculus information.
Makoto didn't tell you about the details of the arrangement?
Seems like a thing he probably should have done.
Well, that was part of the agreement. Speaking of, there was one other condition.
So you're saying he signed an NDA with the world government?
He said if negotiations were successful, I would have to concede my position as CEO to him.
I like to imagine that that wasn't actually part of the deal at all, but since he managed to convince this guy that he couldn't tell him what the deal was, that he was just like, and you know what? I get your car and your wife too, lol, Lamau.
It's hard to believe you gave up your seat as CEO to a complete stranger.
I agree. It's a ridiculous story.
Alright, game. Former CEO would be great at cinema sins.
But without him, the UG would have occupied Kanai Ward, and Amaterasu would have been consumed.
Yeah, but like, the story genuinely doesn't make any sense. We can agree on that, right?
I wanted to protect this company, and he wanted to protect Kanai Ward.
But if... I mean, I guess you're saying that you went along with it because you assumed that the company would be destroyed or taken over if you didn't. But you make it sound like you're enemies with this statement.
Our interests aligned, and I was already quite up there in age. Makoto loves Kanai Ward and its residents.
The fact that people keep, like, Makoto says this a lot, but like the fact that this keeps being said verbatim makes me think that there's like some weird thing like Men in Black International had like a plot point like this, where characters like just kept saying this like specific thing over and over, and suddenly someone was like, wait, why do we always say exactly the same thing when asked this question? That's not normal.
I knew I could entrust this land to him.
But why the trade-off? Why did he want to be CEO of Amaterasu Corporation?
And I mean, I'm not entirely sure if I can answer your question, only because the game has not done a consistent job of making this clear. But, like, I mean, again, it's not clear to me what exactly the unified government is. Like, the game literally hasn't gone so far as to clarify that, and it feels important. But, like, because Amaterasu Corp and Kanai Ward, like, aren't, like, a nation in and of themselves, or they weren't before this agreement, I feel like they probably operated within the bounds of the unified government, but like probably weren't like members of the unified government by nature of not being a nation, I think. But like, again, like this is some ramshackle storytelling, because like it'd be one thing to like tell us this story that explains why the unified government wants this and like have a backstory and have it be motivated. But the game basically presents to us, at least at this stage, that, like, for some reason they wanted to conquer a company, a thing that doesn't really make any sense. And, furthermore, we decided to have a negotiation where they said that as long as we stayed in our lane, they wouldn't destroy us.
He can protect Kanai Ward without it, right?
Oh, yeah, like 10,000% agreed, Neko. Like, I thought we were getting a pretty egregious amount of exposition like 2 hours ago. The fact that like this all is being told to us, like not even just told, like if Makoto came to us and told us this, it would be bad enough. He's like established as like a foundational important character in the mix of all of this, right? So at least there'd be some justification for that. But like literally a ghost shows up and it says, "Ooh, I used to be the CEO of the important company, and I'll just tell you the plot. Ooh." Like, that's what's happening right now. You realize how stupid you sound, game?
But Kanai Ward is now entirely Amaterasu Corporation itself. And I know that he said he wanted to stop homunculus research immediately. In retrospect, there's no denying that the research was extremely inhumane.
In retrospect, he says.
So Makoto became CEO of Amaterasu just to stop the homunculus research?
You know, there was really no way to predict that unethical cloning of people into fully fledged like human beings that don't have rights and subsist entirely on human flesh. There was just no way to know that that was going to be like ethically bad, or that we'd be canceled or whatever.
Ultimately, I can say the decision to concede my position to him was the right one.
I frankly don't care whether you think that was the right decision or not. That is immaterial to anything going on.
Under his leadership, Amaterasu expanded its businesses.
Shareholders.
Their total assets now rival that of the UG.
Richard says, I mean, how could one know? Lawyer, probably. Yeah, objection calls for speculation. Maybe they're happy to eat human flesh, Your Honor. Anyway, says, it's strangely uncommon in games that use this structure where each act is set up for a certain character, but other games still manage to hint at what the big twist is. Yeah, like, I'm not saying that, like, if this game was really well done, I would expect the thing I was sort of alluding to earlier, where each case is self-contained, but like illuminates some part of this greater mystery, so you feel like you're unraveling it as you go. Like, even just to like vaguely hint at it. I mean, like, this game's version of that was to like randomly have people deliver exposition between cases. For like someone to just come up and be like, maybe a homunculus exists. They're like, this is foreshadowing, probably. Instead of like them just like telling, like, this, I feel like a lot of modern like mystery fiction, and like mainly I get this fiction from video games, so I should probably be more specific and say that, well, I don't know, I guess I watch like mystery movies too, and they kind of have this same problem. Like, I mean, even stuff like Only Murders in the Building does this, where just like, instead of people sort of investigating and figuring things out, like, stuff just keeps being like handed to them or like told to them, like this. And like, I don't know how to express to people that this is just obviously bad. Like, I feel like we should just know this. Like, it should be clear that like, if the game has to tell the detective all the answers, it's not a real mystery. Like, does that really need to be explained to people?
Long live Amaterasu, right?
Weird that we get this profile shot of Makoto. Makoto Kagutsuchi was the one who saved Kanai Ward from the unified government's plot. God, the mystery labyrinth for this is going to be so heinously bad. I just know it. The former CEO of Amaterasu Corporation was in the restricted area. What a very specific thing to consider a clue. I want him to just... I want his...
Wasn't the former CEO of Amaterasu Corp...
Hold on a second. Before she says whatever she's gonna say, the one thing that could redeem this section of the game some considerable amount right now is if we asked him, like, one final question of importance, and his response was to say, this will explain everything, and then his head exploded right in front of us. If that happens, I will apologize for bad-mouthing this game. It won't, and it still wouldn't be good writing, but I'd still apologize.
The previous CEO died in an accident, but my guess is that actually...
You think Yomi is responsible?
That's just a guess, mind you.
Yomi must have killed him for giving away the CEO position to Makoto. With that in mind, I don't know if he actually made the right decision.
Well, maybe he hoped to die someday. We've seen it before.
Well, if Yomi was the CEO, the city would be in much worse shape.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's a slight exaggeration considering the game as a whole, Demolition, but genuinely I think that's like a fair criticism of the game at large. A mystery where everyone just tells you the answer after you have literally no choice but to walk down a singular hallway is not a mystery. It's a paint-by-number puzzles with only one inside a square on a blank page. I mean, like, there are parts of this game that are more complicated than that. This part of the game is not.
Yuma.
And it's like the climax or whatever. A pocket watch. A pocket watch. A pocket watch.
Clearly this time.
I'm just gonna walk into the evil machinery room. I like that we like... I like how rude we are. We like didn't end that conversation with them. We're just like, I hear a ghost! And then I walk away. Like, I want to end conversations at parties like that. That's what I want to do. Like, when I want to leave a party, I'm just gonna be like, oh my god, do you hear that? Is it a banshee? And then just like walk right out the front door with no further explanation. Dig the room aesthetic. Yeah, I like the weird like honeycomb mastermind evil villain thing.
That voice is close by, right? Let's try looking for it, Master.
Should I go downstairs? I'm curious now. It's starting to feel like this long hallway will lead where I want to go. Oh no, there's like a barrier. I thought there might be a... I want Fubuki memories. I don't care about anyone else. I don't care about anyone else in this game. Meteors could fall and kill everyone in this game other than Fubuki, including Yuma and Shinigami, and I'd be fine with it. Creepy machine. Looking closer, there are a bunch of capsule-type things on this machine. Gross, but they kind of look like insect eggs. I don't want to be around here. I like how he says looking closer, as if that's not, like, essentially the first thing you notice looking at this. It's a very downtown Lidsville type of experience.
A brave master ventures deeper into the lab in search of the unknown. A never-before-seen device, suspicious equipment, a master prowling into a treacherous lab. And then...
You know, I'm starting to think that Nizatlaws has been behind this whole thing.
You'll have to read the Master Goes Exploring series.
Jeez, I thought something suddenly popped out.
Anyway says, also we could
don't
probably
make
set the
another
dialogue
series
to
about me.
auto-advance and just hold the thumbstick down and we'd be fine. I mean, at this point, literally, yeah. That's probably like a speedrun strat for this game. As if anyone would ever lower themselves to try such a miserable thing. These are just the human pod towers from the Matrix. I mean, kinda.
So, you're the one who's been calling for me. Chief.
Huh? Fuzzhead, really? This guy?
I'm happy to see you, even if it's like this. Do you remember me?
Remember me?
Yuma.
Yes, I'm Yuma! Chief, you understand me?
I hope that he thinks we're someone else and starts bad-mouthing Yuma. That's what I want. Is this the CD-ROM demo of Full Throttle? What a joyous gift. Since we don't need to interact with the NPC to trigger the dialogue. Some of them we have to.
Master, wait.
Why?
Nothing good will come from chasing after the dead. Just let him go.
But...
Besides, don't you think you should maybe hurry up and check out whatever Fuzzhead left for you instead?
Nah, that sounds dumb and lame.
That is what he would want.
He's right there. I could ask him what he wants.
Fine.
Chief Yako, thank you for everything.
I mean, I feel like you can have this dramatic moment if he's, like, actually dead. Him, like, shambling away like a zombie and trying to have that emotional moment feels really weird to me for some reason. How are we gonna play that? Dude, I don't know. I mean, I think it's implied we're gonna go back upstairs and plug it into the stupid TV, but it seems dumb to me.
The computer still works.
Alright, I'm stating now that the next time I get the ability to save, I'm probably gonna save. I was gonna do it before doing this, but the game actually, like, skipped ahead of something and made it into a cutscene instead of it should have been a cutscene.
Now I can check the disc the Chief gave me.
I like how he says that like he had to wait a really long time. It's been 97 seconds. I can check the CD.
On? Well, I hope it's recording. Let's begin.
Yu-Gi-Oh! King of Games.
Stain on my career as a researcher. But given the tragedy about to occur, this record will be of great assistance. It is currently 2 a.m. 14 hours have passed since Project Homunculus began.
It smells terrible.
I'll get straight to the point. Project Homunculus is a failure. Something unexpected occurred in our efforts to find suitable DNA. Although we successfully created homunculi, the results have been dubbed defective. Defective homunculi have a fatal flaw to them. In the revival
They die
process,
if they dry out?
their intelligence is lost. They are reduced to nothing but senseless, flesh-seeking monsters.
That doesn't seem to quite
There's also
jive with
another
what's...
flaw.
Okay.
In a previous experiment, a defective
Why is the
homunculus
audio quality completely different? Is this ADR?
Trying to adjust for it worked against us. Made them even more violent.
Bring me the blue pages.
We are in
Don't
hell
touch the
itself.
red pages.
They're nothing more than monsters. It's here.
Was that like legitimately ADR? What the crap was that? That was so stupid.
Defective homunculi will devour humans down to their bones. They will drink every last drop of your blood. At this rate.
That shouldn't be funny at all, but that line delivery was super funny. If they were shambling slowly toward him, why did he just keep recording that stupid message? What's wrong with that guy? What an idiot.
That was Dr. Weska, right? Looks like a zombie got to him.
But Project Homunculus supposedly happened 3 years ago.
Right?
If the doctor died in a failed experiment 3 years ago, then who was the Dr. Weska I met in Amaterasu's lab?
He was his identical twin brother who had been kept in touch about Project Homunculus via correspondence, so you didn't have to catch him up on Project Homunculus, and if it makes you feel more comfortable, you can just call him Dr. Weska.
I mean, he is right there. Why not ask him?
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's gonna work super good. Video recorded by the doctor. He talks about his homunculus research. Although the creation of homunculi were successful, the results were defective. They're susceptible to blank. Match game 76. Homunculi who have lost all reason seem to be attracted to sound. That's a really weird amendment to an already weird clue. Oh, okay, we skipped ahead again.
Dr. Weska,
We've decided we're no longer a walking
happened in the
simulator.
Experiment 3 years ago?
Hey, it's you.
Yu-Gi-Oh! King of Games.
You.
Damn it. It's no use.
The video could have been fake.
Wait, this guy's not wearing shoes. Everyone's been wearing clothes like normally. This guy just doesn't have shoes. Was he not wearing shoes when he died? I don't remember.
Maybe if it was just some random disc, but Chief Yaga went out of his way to give it to me.
It's an interesting theory, anime. They freak out if they see the original and, like, try to prey on them. It might explain Makoto's mask or something. Thank God they didn't make us walk back. I was really expecting it, like, really, really hard.
It has to be an important clue.
But the last part was nothing but static, so there's no telling what he was saying. The homunculi have some sort of flaw. If they have a weakness, we need to know it.
Did you get to meet your benefactor? Perhaps you've finally obtained the truth. Speaking of which, don't you think you should return to the factory? Kurumi is in danger.
What?
So stupid. A stupid game.
Hey, Master!
The only reason Makoto wears a mask is so he could do a dramatic face reveal later. That's probably true, Neko. I still want there to be a reason. Like, I don't expect that to be true or good, but, like, it'd be nice if there was a reason.
You really never give up, do you?
Okay, hang on. Oh, nope.
Despite
This
all
is
the
not a
murders
savable
you've
section.
seen, despite getting knocked out over and over again. You were framed as a criminal, and even murdered real criminals in the name of truth.
Oh, now I can save. I think if I let this go on a little bit longer, it will go on for an extremely long time, is what I think. We've been going for a while, even though we got a little bit of a late start. Save over November. Oh, man. I mean, let me say this. As stupid and ridiculous as this story has devolved into, I have to admit that I enjoy this experience of what we're doing now more than the average start to a case. Because if we were doing a standard case right now, what we would have spent this entire stream doing is like having someone like drop some vague plot bomb that wasn't founded in anything that we'd done, which isn't extremely different than what we've had happen here. But then we would go and do a bunch of pointless side quests in the hope to gain DP, which is, you know, something of an intentional choice on my part, to be fair. But like, we would do that for like the better part of 3 hours, and then like a nonsensically random murder would happen, and then like Yumo would spend some amount of time just being surprised by every basic, obvious, possible observation. At least with this section of the game, we got like Silent Hill and Resident Evil references. We got the campiness of the automated voiceover tour and the stupid robots that like feed zombies. So like, even though the plot is bad, at least it's like more interesting and fun. Like, this is closer to the Heavy Rain end of the spectrum of like, yeah, it's bad, but like, it's fun to like dunk on it constantly because it just refuses to get any better. Did we finish it? No, Cotillion wasn't paying attention. I mean, not paying attention isn't like functionally distinct from like paying close attention, really, if we're being honest. But no, the game seems intent to go on for quite some time, and we haven't gone into the Mystery Labyrinth, so we're still probably at least 2 weeks away from finishing this game. Probably more. But yeah, I mean, you've been here. You know what I think. You know what this game is like. You should join tomorrow. Tomorrow, like I said, my plan is to stream more Cobalt Core, mostly because I haven't had time to like do anything to set up like a new game at all. And also kind of, to be honest, because I would happily play more Cobalt Core. At the very least, the game is an absolute mood. Like, even if you don't have any interest in the game, put on the music and just chat. It's great. But yeah, I wanna talk about Strong Week, actually. But I haven't really left myself enough time to have that conversation now. I'll try to bring it up some amount next week or on Discord. But yeah, I should wrap this up because I'm running on empty. Is that yellow guy next to me pouring on a Woodstock Squishmallow? It is. That is what that is. He's I mean, he's sort of covered up, but it's a Woodstock from Charlie Brown wearing like a Christmas cape with reindeer antlers on. It's very good. I also, fun fact, I made the conscious decision to put these three together because their color scheme matches the evolutions from the first game. I mean, this is literally Vaporeon, but Carlos is red like a Flareon, although we also have a Flareon. And Woodstock is yellow like a Jolteon, which we also have. Unfortunately, you can't see that one quite so well. I'm glad you like the big Christmas tree of Squirtles, but that yields an important question. One that's even more significant than the great global mystery that is homuncula zombies. And that question is, where is the secret Squirtle? Because despite the fact that you can see an entire what has been described as Christmas tree of Squirtles, somewhere on this couch is hidden a secret Squirtle. Now, if you can locate that Squirtle, it will be an omen of good luck for you in the week to come. Or really in the coming days, because time is a construct, and who can say where the love goes, only time, or something like that. Secret Squirtle is under the... What's the plural for Squirtle? It's obviously squad, right? I mean, I could certainly forgive you for having that slip your mind, but like, it's gotta be squad, right? It simply has to be a squad of Squirtles. I'm gonna have a little more of this 100% juice apple, legally in some way distinct from apple juice. Leave me your guess. Where do you think that Squirtle is? Everyone seems to think they know where it is. See that Neko has guessed under Squidbeard, and Well, we got a lot of guesses that it might be under all them Squirtles. Let's go take a look. Well, we gotta start somewhere, right? I mean, I guess the easier thing to do, hiding under Squidbeard, is this tiny little Christmas tree. I wanted to show off some Christmas friends as we slowly descend into the new year from the holiday season. Might be worth pointing out this other little guy up there, also a Christmas tree. This one's wearing a Santa hat. So you got like a classic star top Christmas tree and a Santa tree, and they're both very merry. So let's see. Got 1 Squirtle, 2 Squirtle, 3 Squirtle, 4 Squirtle, 5 Squirtle. This is going to be increasingly difficult. 6 Squirtle, 7 Squirtle, 8 Squirtle, 9 Squirtle. Huh. No Squirtle there. That's because perhaps this is a particularly sneaky Squirtle. I didn't actually think anyone would guess this. But the location of our secret Squirtle, and I'm gonna need my arms for this, is hiding right here. But that's not really going to do it justice, now is it? Because this Squirtle is a unit.
Oh, darn.
Look at this Squirtle. Kurtrish, I'm glad that you like the advent calendar thing.
Oh my gosh!
He's so big. He's so big. He's so big. He's so big. Like, I think this, I don't know. How tall is Squirtle on Pokedex? This, I mean, I already thought this guy was pretty close to like real Squirtle size. This one's even bigger. Squirtle is a mood. It's pretty tough to hide this guy, which is why I wanted to try and be extra sneaky with him this time. Incidentally, I got this for Christmas, if that wasn't already clear. Focus, camera. Squirtle is 50.8 centimeters. That's like Schmeggins. I don't know what that is. Convert that to idiot for me. You got Sleepy Charmander too. Sleepy Squirtle is very good. I mean, don't get me wrong. We got Sleepy Eevee and Sleepy Jolteon, and I don't actually remember where I put that Flareon. Oh, it's behind me. They didn't have Vaporeon in stock when I bought those ones, so I still don't have Vaporeon, which makes me kind of sad. But luckily, I do at least have this little Vaporeon. But like, I mean, he's so big. One 1.6 feet? Is that really true? That seems short. Maybe that's true. I mean, if that's true, this guy's got to be bigger than that for sure. I mean, like a while ago, Ditto had said to me, he sent me on Discord. I don't remember if it was a direct message. He might have just put it on the group Discord that they like had sleeping Squirtles at his Target and like they didn't have them at mine. But I have him now. Squirtle is a little guy. That's true. This is a big guy. He's a Gigantamax Squirtle. Anyway, I don't need to take up any more of your time. I've been talking for a really long time. I'm just really excited about this guy. He's a big hug buddy. He would be perfect for that stupid nap idea I mentioned earlier in the stream. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed me razzing this game as hard as I could manage. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. And I hope to see you again soon. I'm going to be back tomorrow streaming Cobalt Core at the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific. It should be like a little bit easier to chat because I don't have the impetus to try and get the plot done. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and remember that you are Colossum.